We're live.
Okay, so the treasure map.
Oh my god, yeah.
Oh
The
shit.
treasure map.
Y'all.
The math equation thing.
All right. Does someone have it?
It's on the wiki. I can pull it.
I
All right. No, no,
I'm gonna be honest with you. I totally forgot about this because is this over a year and a half ago
I'm like
now?
it.
this is
3
2
years
years at this
ago.
point. This is
a long time
so
ago.
long ago.
Quarantine started a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
Oh, this fucker.
That-
Yeah.
Did
I
someone
think-
just post it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So thank you for posting it. My fatal flaw, my absolute fatal flaw, was not delineating which poem went to which map. And you all got so screwed up with this. That's on me. That is entirely on me. The top two are supposed to go together, and the bottom two are supposed to go together. I should have made that a lot clearer with its design. The thing is, both of these would have taken you to different places, like opposite corners of the world, to find the lost. There's a whole quest chain to find the lost artifacts of the Silver Wing.
Yeah.
And if you bring together every single, like on the first one, if you bring together every single capital letter, you'll end up with what is it? One second. I have the
SR
answer key right
WAOE.
Oh, I see all the capitals.
Yeah. I gotta find this.
ETL.
Did I say
WD? Wait, WD. What the fuck?
I think you had to unscramble it too, but basically it said it was the Wallowa Desert. It was leading you to Wallowa Desert, where then you'd follow the map to find exactly where this place was. The other thing another fatal flaw of this is I used a Christmas tree, and I should not have used a Christmas tree.
We were super held up on the white room.
hard.
I should have just used a pine tree. That's what I meant. But I used a Christmas tree, and I was stupid.
And then we had like totally attached.
That's also our error because our Christmas understanding of what their Christmas was not the same thing because there was no star on top of a tree or lights around any tree at any point in those campaigns.
No, there was decoration and festivities, but there wasn't like you decorate a tree and stuff like that. It was just like, and you give presents to everyone, and Chris comes in and gives everyone presents for being good citizens, and they ended up being infinite water kegs or whatever. But yeah, and then the second one, it was a math equation.
Yeah.
If you were to solve the math equation, so within where did this thing go? Within this, within the poem itself, if you were to ask questions and start doing research on this, you'd just basically be able to find out that this is a fallen place, and it was actually within the wastes of Juniper, which are east of Point Euler, just next to the Thundercliff Wilderness Reserve. If you were to solve the equation, it would give you a number, and that number is a direct corollary to a letter in the alphabet, and that would tell you which building you needed to go to.
Got it.
So I made that one needlessly complicated. But
no such thing. I ran a puzzle night for y'all. Okay, we can do this.
That was a good night.
So there was a few words that probably should have tipped people off. In the ruins of a city, scalene is right, which doesn't make any sense. Scalene triangle isn't right, so what's scalene? And then you could figure it out. But anyways, but then you all were tying them all together, and I was just I can't do anything to be it's not stop. So
yeah,
anyways, that was the puzzle.
I guess you could have told us that they were two different pages, maybe.
I should have. But then you started talking about white, and I was just there's no salvaging this. I'm just gonna let this fall to the wayside.
It was. I mean, it was side content, right?
Yeah,
It was.
it
What
was.
We'd get some magic items.
what would have she found?
I don't know. Those artifacts are
No.
lost to time.
Lost
Aren't
silver
they?
ring
All
artifact.
right.
Maybe they'll
For
come
a
back up.
different
I
group.
hope so. That'd be cool.
I think in the poems, both the poems actually reference what they are, though.
Crown.
And a triangle.
Well.
We could have gotten a pyramid all to ourselves.
That would have been dope.
That would have been a great base of operations, a pyramid. Oh,
Yeah.
And at the center of it, you find a bejeweled sarcophagus with
bedazzled
jewels
sarcophagus.
everywhere.
No, it's
Wait a
bedazzled.
minute. Don't open it! King.
It is I, King.
Yeah.
Fuck.
What? No.
That was
What?
too bad. What?
We
The
played
bejeweled skeleton.
That was the stupid ass map.
Return of Vern. Yeah.
Yeah. It all returns to Vern.
What a legend. I got another question.
Oh, by all
Alright.
means, James, run this thing.
All right, so when we were in the Giant's Cave, and Sirius made a wish with a genie to cast more powerful spells, what did Sirius get? I don't think I ever knew that.
He can answer that,
did it
actually.
few times.
So he asked for greater power.
You
Kyle.
asked for the ability to cast more powerful spells.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
No.
the specific word.
Yeah, okay,
was a
that
word.
was true.
Yeah.
It was Kyle's intention to ask for a free +1 level, but as it turned out, because that's what genies do, it gave him something entirely different, and it was access to 1 level 9 spell, and that's what was cast on the battlefield right when it started.
The level 9
Oh.
spell was from something else.
I thought that was from your deal with the Fae.
It was. That
was your deal with Faye.
Yeah, the level
You-
9 spell
Oh.
was from the modified deal.
The
You
hit
basically
dice.
revised the contract with one of the Lords of Seasons. But for the
Was
Genie Wish,
all-
you gain the ability to burn hit dice to
That's-
bolster
you're right, that's what it
spell
was.
damage. I can't remember.
That's why
if-
in one spell he did like 70 damage or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was a blight, and you're like, all right, I rolled 70, and you're like, oh fuck.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I remember Kyle doing that in the
Horrible,
final
too.
fight, and I was like, wait, what is he doing? But I just let it go.
I know. You're right.
Wow.
It was the I could use hit dice, and I think I burnt like 7 of them to throw some extras in there.
I
That's a
can't-
good solution.
I can't
It was
remember
fun.
if that's a temporary boon. I don't know if you're
it
going to
was-
be able to do that for the rest of your life, or if you only have like that pool to play with. I have to
I mean,
double-check
I've
my
got some
notes.
future serious, questions to ask y'all if that's something you want to hit tonight.
We can,
But yeah, that could be one of them.
yeah, we can do post campaign stuff later. But
Yeah, we should do like
It-
epilogue intentions.
Yeah, we need to.
yeah,
But
Mhm.
the original intention of those dice was that you would burn them to do extra damage, but you'd hurt yourself in the process. That's why you had, if you remember, Harlan was talking about like the tattoo on your neck lighting up when you activated that. That was part of like the noose around your neck.
I see.
Okay.
He probably, for flavor reasons, he probably still would have done it though.
Oh,
I prepped I prepped 2 types of healing for that night in preparation for that.
If I
Or is it
forgot
good?
the deal damage to yourself part, then that's definitely on me. That wasn't. I didn't see that in my notes, and I didn't look at this stuff for like 2 years, so I forgot. But
You have to
Oh,
remind
no.
me.
that would track.
So.
And if we ever get back to Sirius, we'll find a way to balance that out, so you're not just like a nuke damage dealer, because you guys don't use hit dice anyway. So it.
I mean, I don't suspect to ever have control over him again, but
No, if
Yeah,
the court
you-
has anything to say about it.
You have basically a half of an arm, one half
Yes.
of an arm, and that's it.
And 50 extra pounds.
I will say that not that I planned for us to do like another campaign, but when I first made him, I'm like, oh, Druids get this this ageless body thing. This would be a cool way to make him an NPC maybe in the future.
That's true.
Yeah.
I want
So-
to backtrack for a second. The tattoos around the neck are from the deal with the quarter seasons specifically.
Oh, okay.
That showed up after that. The genie thing was the black. I don't know if
It was like
I
the
spent enough
ichor,
time, but
like the black veins.
yeah, black veiny ichor before it retreats during the spell casting. I probably did like a 10-second spiel about that
Like-
and then moved on.
Like what a Geralt would do when he drinks black blood.
Yeah, I drew like a
Yeah.
Geralt.
Yeah.
Hey, you're a
Like a
Geralt
witchman.
now. You're a Dark Souls
So
Geralt.
Not in that campaign, I'm not.
Not yet.
Wait.
Not yet.
Ah.
You're what
Anywho.
he's gonna hunt. Yeah. Yeah.
James,
so
I saw that
seriously-
you had a short novel, so I know this isn't done yet. What else you got?
Yeah. So okay, so Gorza had a vision of her death, right? In the,
Yes.
Did we talk about Gorza stuff without Alex?
I don't know.
It's
I mean, we can
recording.
wait, I guess. It's not. It's a huge
sure.
thing, I guess. I mean, we can wait.
I actually have a few things to say on that topic, so maybe we should wait.
So at the end of season 1, we got Ogma's doubt as like a artifact.
That fucker.
Dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, break our paper sword
Yeah.
bond, but then it kind of just went away. And
It
we
was
never
so
really used it. 'cause
arbitrary.
We didn't understand it. We were afraid to use it.
Well,
I'm
not
gonna-
all of us were afraid to use it.
I'm gonna cut it and say I have plans for it, so don't worry about that right now. But
Oh.
it
Oh.
Okay.
it
Okay.
was remembering back to I believe it was Callaway who told you about that because he told you about it the first time you went to the library. He was like, I know a bunch of Silverwing history. Shit's weird. There was an old thing on this boat that went down that might be able to help
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Long and short of it was from the story side. He was wrong. He just had bad information. It was a very powerful artifact, but it probably wouldn't, do exactly what you were hoping it would do. From a DM creative perspective, that whole situation just kind of got out of control, and then we just kind of put it away, and then retconned it for
So-
the story later.
Okay, getting back to actually the crux of this whole thing, which was the paper sword. Harlan and I misread that with the players that you all wanted to be so horribly. So
Amen.
horribly.
As in, you thought we just wanted to be like mercs running around, fucking shit up.
Like that was the point of the thing. It's just like, yeah, like you pull in a few people, do a job, and then you get out, and then you come back together every once in a while, and then all of a sudden it became. I fully expected you to kill Team Falchion and continue on with the story, and then you're like, let's save them,
That's right.
and then I was like, that was the turning point in everything.
The saving them was probably on me. I was at the point
I was
where
running that night.
True. I was the one who
I
like
was-
cut their bond, so I was like, I want to make a deal, and everyone else was like,
Yeah.
what the fuck, and then we ended it.
Yeah.
So I think I was playing against the grain a little bit. Some of my famous intentionally tried to stir conflict within people to get stuff happening and make it interesting. But yeah, the whole inception of Paper Sword was like training wheels and narrative excuses to have a fluctuating group every week, every other week.
Right.
But you guys didn't, outgrew the training wheels very quickly. And I was like, all right, we'll just shelve this for a different campaign and let y'all run
And-
fucking wild. And it paid off dividends.
Yeah,
It was
and
stressful,
I mean,
but it worked.
it just goes to show how much, like, your actions fucking mattered.
Yeah.
Because that was not the plan.
Yeah, because we were tasked to kill or bring in Team Falchion
Yeah,
because they were
Yeah.
rogue from the paper sword,
yeah.
and then we were like, let's also go rogue.
Yeah.
I was,
And it
we were
worked.
fuck.
That was
Shit.
Was that the night where there was the cart and there was somebody in the cart and we killed the guy to get the painting?
That was
Different.
different.
No.
night.
Okay.
no. This was we went to like an abandoned. It was like an abandoned fortress. Is that correct?
It's
And
like
we
mansion,
found
yeah.
some of the members.
It was in Fort Maw.
Oh,
No?
yeah, that one. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been,
Yeah.
Cal's right. Yeah,
Okay.
there was a small beholder in there, I believe, that we dealt with. They
Yeah.
were trapped in a
and-
bathtub, and then
A wizard with the dog outfit
Oh,
Warlock.
that was
committed way
Steve.
too hard to it.
Oh, Steve.
Steve
Yeah,
the
Steve.
Warlock,
Oh,
draped in his
yeah,
animal
okay.
furs.
Yeah,
Rip Steve though.
rip Steve.
He did die.
Yeah,
Antarctic
those were
Warlock.
agents of the Weaver. Like way
Oh.
back early. Yeah, those were agents of the Weaver.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I
remember
think
that-
that was mentioned at that point,
Yeah.
but
That was when
yeah.
Brodo strung his lute to attune to it, and we had to fight off like spiders.
Yeah,
that's
Kina
next session. That
dragged
was great.
away. Silence. That's when Kyle learned a very hard lesson about how important vocal components are.
That
You're
was
thinking of a different fight.
intentional.
The spiders? No, the spiders had a silence.
Oh, you're right. They
on
did.
that.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're
Well,
right. You're right.
no, it was the strumming of the lute that caused the AoE silence. It was part of the resonance that Broda was making with the playwright, who has now been renamed as the plagiarist. So, write that down in your notes. And I figured, well, this is also a great excuse to, teach players while playing about how magic works and how it can be fucked with to your detriment or to your benefit if you're the one doing this stuff. And it was very interesting, and I painted a bunch of tiny little plastic spiders because it was October and Halloween toys were on sale.
I remember that.
And then it sidetracked into the whole mask thing, and then the teammates who weren't at the table, Alex was gone that night, and since I was running it, Karth were mind possessed, and then you had to fuck with that. And
Yeah.
then a bunch of shit going on with that. But yeah,
that was a good session.
Thank you. Oh, and then the sexy
I
dancing
really-
skeletons came out after that, and that was fun.
Classic.
So a lot going on, but that is something I aim to do, especially with fresher groups, is teach them through problems and teach them through combat about how their stuff works. By pointing out, like, it doesn't work if this is happening. Deal with what is happening, and then you can do your stuff.
Yeah.
Speaking of the skeletons, so why were the Court of Bones like all robotic?
Oh,
Was it just because they were
towards
like
the
under the
later
sway
half
of the
of
first
the-
plane? Yeah, towards the later half of the campaign.
So at a high level, one of the shards that Briscoe and the Flame had control of, and they basically like got root access to like fucking overclock that shit, was enchantment. So
Got it.
binding things to your will, extraplanar or planar. So they had a bunch of elementals under their control as well, stuff like that. The Malfurion hand
demons.
centipede, that thing was part of that as well. So they basically tapped into the Court of Bones and just sort of ran them like puppets a little bit. As much as they
Court of
could.
Bones.
They're very strong personalities, and it requires a very strong personality to be a sexy dancing skeleton, apparently. And they, in general, the skeletons were one of the multiple throwbacks that I wanted to throw into the campaign from a podcast that Kyle and I used to listen to a lot called Fantasy Fiction. That's where Moonsday and
Good
Third
material in
Moonsday
there.
comes from. Yeah. Sexy
Mr.
dancing
Moonsday.
skeletons are from that.
Steve's Day is also from that.
Steve's Day is in that.
Really?
Yeah.
We'll see what happens to Steve's Day. And there's a bunch of stuff. Volo Thunderbluff, the professional wrestler from the Blood Fight, for the one person who may remember him, he's a ripoff from that podcast as well. So I was stealing shit left and right about that time.
It's okay.
So did you decide that Briscoe was gonna have those two shards? Like you're like, okay, this shard's gonna be over here, this shard's gonna be over here.
It made sense based on the ones that people had already claimed and what he needed to kind of get his thing organized. Spencer and I went back and forth a bunch about what the Silverwing had regarding Bladefire.
Yeah.
That took a lot of discussion, but then we settled on, well, it makes sense. Give them enchantment, and then, give them conjuration for the dragon, because thematically that works great.
It wasn't conjuration, it was evocation.
Evocation, fuck.
Right, yeah,
Yes.
like Kina's.
Yeah. Big
Um,
damage one.
But it was basically they were doing their own quests to get these shards. They didn't have the full access of the knowledge, but they did go off. If you remember, there was like a shard moving for a while, because they had gone off and claimed that shard while
The eagle.
everyone else was doing something else, and then you all were like, "Fuck, we got to get on this," and you just like went bam, 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 bam before.
They got one of the shots. I remember that.
Yeah. There was even the one in the Grove that, like, when Harlan ran that night, like, they were already there and everything, so they were just running their own shit. That's just what happened.
Very happy with that Grove night. Partially happy with that. Very happy with the combat for that night. Not happy with everything else I did that night, but still good.
My God, don't be too hard on yourself.
Well, I mean, like the setting and describing that Grove of the Bear, I kind of threw out everything I had prepped and
Great.
freeballed in. That didn't. It's like a Disney cartoon. It's like, all right, that's not great. All the family stuff with the sister, I
disagree.
Very happy with that.
I loved everything about that night because Kyle had imagined it very much in a Disney setting, because it's like people that become animals and ultimately try to stay that way and still interact with other people as an animal. That's funny, and that's exactly what I had pictured.
It's a city of blues from the Jungle Book.
And you still tied in all of my nonsense, characters that I made up, and even added, one or two yourself that were all thematically in the same realm. Perfect.
Very happy with Urson. Loved him.
Amore, if
Amore.
you would quote Ryan.
Amore, I couldn't make any more. Kill me. You're right. Overall, very happy with the Grove of the Bear.
I loved it.
Worked very hard on that one.
Trees to meet you. What else can I say about it?
That's one of is that what they said?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it
That's
is.
a seeing. And also with you.
It's one of our episode titles. I remember that.
So,
It's probably the night where you guys walked through the Fey Bleed to get there.
Yeah.
oh, that was so cool.
Love what they did with the Fey Bleed. That was great.
So, gosh.
I have another question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Shoot.
And we probably covered this, but I can't remember. When and why did Fu turn into foe? Like, I remember Fu getting turned to stone, and then Kina didn't know what to do with him. So she, either put him in a bag or dismissed him, and the next time it wasn't. Or no, and then he started attacking her or something, and that's why she turned him to stone. And then dismissed him and brought him back, but then it was foe.
It was the Weaver had access to the Fey realm, and through there gained access to Fu. And so when you went to go summon Fu again, a new entity had to fill that space, and that ended up being foe, if I've got this correct.
That's not my question, though. It's why did it change?
Because the Weaver?
I feel like
Okay, so then
I
why
can't
did the
remember,
Weaver
but we
choose
knew it
to
at the
take
time.
Fu away and put foe in?
it was
Well,
the Weaver.
I thought she took food to keep an eye on us because it happened after we interacted with her.
Spencer?
Well, Harlan, you ran the night where you met Foe in the actual Fae as a true in his true form.
Yeah.
So Fu, okay. So again, we're gonna start at a high level and then work down for just how the world works, and then we'll talk about the DM half. So whenever someone summons an entity, Fae, Elemental, etc., they're basically taking a conscious or semi-conscious entity from somewhere and then shoving them into the prime material. And sometimes that doesn't work one-to-one. If you're summoning a spell and you get to choose the shape something is, well, Fu isn't a horned rabbit by nature. That's just what you chose him to be. So that means, well, what would he look like normally? He looks like a quickling. That's a very small, weak, fake creature that, that kind of slides in nicely. At a higher level from that, what is the Fey realm like? It is chaotic, jovial, but there's also very strict hierarchy. So he's basically a temp worker at a certain point, and then that's what you're summoning in. And then eventually you lost access to Fu because of a bunch of stuff going on in the background, in part due to the Weaver pulling strings, metaphor, in the background to kind of secure her hand in everything, to make sure that she had enough control over you guys and, striking the deals that she could with the court, to just generally be a nuisance. The Weaver is not your friend, and they're being a pain. And then
Yeah.
I might add that she probably didn't like that somebody was trying to have dominance over her by striking a deal. And so kind of like her way to kind of like get back after the serious deal was to probably take Fu, my guess, right?
I could see that. That probably wasn't a conscious choice on our part,
Oh.
but that
That's how
I would buy that. I would buy that as a sort of petty recompense. Long version, trimmed short. It's just like people are trying to mess with you, and they're
It's not. Oh, while you are the main characters of the game we run, you're not the main necessarily. Everything that is happening within the entire world, if that makes sense.
Agree to disagree.
Yeah. I just wasn't sure if there was like a, I don't know.
there wasn't a single action that you guys did that took Fu away from you.
Yeah.
It was like,
Okay.
who you dealt with, things that happened. It was like, all right, well, no more Fu for you guys. Someone else has to fill this position. It's Foe.
Okay.
So,
Makes sense.
yeah.
Fu was a
Fu-
fighter for too long.
It's a Fu fighter.
Fu lived
Fu
in
did
the
survive.
end.
Fu
Yeah.
escaped, probably on the
Right.
galleon somewhere, hanging out with the frog people.
Oh my god, they'd be such good friends. They know each other too.
Oh yeah, the Hopalong's got to fight a dragon. They're probably very excited.
Maybe
about
we'll do that someday.
Oh God, I forgot they were on that ship.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did too.
Ah.
They all made it out.
They're not
Should've
going to
put
come
children.
down to the main
That's
level.
what they are. They're children.
Gorza killed enough frog children. She doesn't need more. in her
And they
conscience.
know nothing about it.
They know one of their friends, one of their group of friends was killed.
It's fine.
That's all they know.
It's fine.
So, I've got a question about Malfurion. So I'm guessing it was not expected for you guys that we ended up killing him, and you guys thought he was going to be there to the end.
It's fine.
No.
Yeah, I'm not saying it was like bad that we did it. I'm just
You put a bad guy
Yeah.
in front of a group of adventurers, like, always prepare. Like, they could die.
He tried to escape though, right before we killed him, right?
Oh,
He
everyone
did.
tries to escape. Absolutely.
we had the dimensional shackles on him. That's how he couldn't tell.
Yeah, that's right. That
Yeah.
was a clutch
It was
item to
very
have.
clutch.
Yeah,
Like he almost
Did
got
we-
away.
Did we lose those shackles?
Gorza still has them.
She still has them.
shit!
I think Gorza still has them.
Where did you
Oh,
get the
okay.
dimensional shackles again? Was that from the vault?
It was a loot from something.
Was it the
I mean,
the loot boxes from way back when?
Oh,
think it
not
was
that
later,
early.
Because you
Yeah.
guys had them the first time you were on the Red Galleon, and you were trying to get them on Briscoe, but you couldn't.
Not the first time in season 1.
they were
got
trying to
them
get
later.
him on when he attacked the temple.
Yeah, and like that was like season 4 when we killed Malfurion, and then Briscoe shows up to get revenge. We tried to get him on him too, but I think they were loot in maybe in the gate vaults or something like that.
Must
found-
have been the
We
Gatefold.
found them somewhere.
They
Yeah,
were from
Alex
season
Clark remembers.
4, episode 2, The Fire Within.
that's when we
Oh.
killed
The
Malfurion.
party divided up the spoils of value found on the bodies of the invading Eldritch forces, the most notable item being enchanted shackles used to prevent magical means of escape. On the deck of the Red Galleon the second time, where Old Buckets came back as a
Yeah, that's
zombie
You're right.
tentacle man.
You're right.
Cool.
Yeah,
Which,
we
by
used
the
them right
way-
away. That was good.
I got to the boat bit in the C team.
Yeah, that's the best.
Love it.
Space boat, oh, so good.
My
No,
mind.
not a space boat.
No,
Just
all
regular
boats,
sea boat.
Yeah, no, all boats travel through space. It goes like forward on water, but yeah.
So when Malfurion was like regenerating, if we had just like thrown his body away, would he have like regenerated and come back?
Probably.
Who knows?
Okay, you're not gonna tell us that.
I'm
we
not
didn't
gonna
have like
tell
a
you that.
flow chart for like if put in bag, then come back 5 episodes later. Like that's not.
That's what I want. I want the flowchart, and I want the 12 possible endings that we could have had to our Mass Effect game.
So I'll say
There
this.
wasn't 12 possible endings. There's infinite possible endings. That's the problem.
Most of them were bad.
we're not.
Working. I want to see them.
Yeah.
No, that's not how this works.
Oh, it will though. To not better answer, but another way to answer that question, James, would be that's a great idea. I could definitely see us coming up with that because we already kind of did something like that with the Karth resurrection fight. So probably yeah.
I mean, I kept hinting at that every time you looked at it. His like, the base of his neck had like skinned over
Yeah.
and shit like that.
Yeah, that's why we concluded that he probably can't resurrect without his head. And so if we just keep damaging his head, he probably can't resurrect.
Pretty good bet.
Works
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see.
I'm looking through my folder right now that I haven't looked at in so long, and I found my one-off folder. I still have a one-off planned for the Hill of Kings, if anyone remembers that deep
Right?
lore.
Yes.
Yeah.
Some good lore.
Oh yeah, so speaking of that, so Gawk the Reckless was the champion that Gorz killed.
Yeah.
And he was like a dragon in disguise, basically.
He was of dragon lineage, yeah. He was like half dragon.
Okay.
He was
Because
the
he was
other
really-
red dragon, right?
No,
He was like
he
a
was
green
a
dragon.
he was a green dragon.
Like-
He was
Oh,
lineage.
shit.
He was lineage of Venom Fang.
Oh
He mentioned that.
right.
He was lineage of Venom Fang.
But then after we killed him, the 2 red dragons showed up
Yeah.
and we're like, yo, he was our cousin or something.
Yeah.
And we're mad.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
When we were fighting there were two dragons. I think it was
Twin brother and
red
sisters.
dragons?
Red
Mhm.
dragons.
Yeah.
Two reds.
and Kina had like one of the dragons spoke to Kina, and she heard a voice in her head that she assumed was one of the dragons. Was that because of the like Bahamut lineage or something?
Remember that.
I'm gonna assume yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think Gorza also got something like that, though, didn't she?
I don't know.
Don't
I
remember.
just know we were around dragons. We were around the 2 dragons, and like Kina heard a voice that she couldn't recognize.
I'm gonna say yes.
Okay.
I don't remember specifically what you heard.
It
Because we
was
were
like
both running
use-
that night,
it
but I
said-
don't remember.
It said use fire, or it was like the voice was suggesting that fire would work on a fire dragon.
Oh, it was fight fire with fire, wasn't it? It wasn't like
Something
a
like
cliche
that.
like that.
Something like that, yeah.
That may have
I
been
was-
an earlier attempt from Spencer to try and get you to hatch the egg, which I believe you had at that point. Did you have
Uh-huh.
the egg by that point? That might have been
Yeah.
a Spencer push to get you to pop your dragon form at that point. I could see that being a possibility.
Yeah.
I didn't do work on this, but that would make
I
sense
do-
to me.
I'm trying to look for. Do we know when this happened? Was this season 5?
Oh, that sounds like a fiber.
This
I
was,
don't
this
remember
was
it.
right after Gawk the Reckless, or no? This was
It
a
would have been
different
the
time.
episode after Gawk the Reckless.
Yeah, like immediately after Gawk.
We were coming out of a castle.
Duel
Uh,
of Fates. Is
there were towers
Season 4,
at
episode
the
7,
fort.
maybe.
Thank you.
It's probably 7.
This happened after Karth went Great Monkey on us, right?
It was yes.
Yeah.
That was an episode or 2 after the whole. Karth left the party, and now Harlan wants to run a night, and here's a big boss for you to fight.
Checks out.
That's pretty much it. That was about the time when you guys were hanging out and trying to help liberate the Savage Frontier from the Gawk invasion, basically. Which you guys did, and secured some good enemies for the final fight.
This is true.
What do we call that episode? Quit Your Gawking?
Oh god, that would have been better.
Oh fuck, that would have been so good.
It
Can
went
we
from-
rename it, please?
Duel of Fates into the 40-year-old virgin. I'm not sure which one that's a reference to. I'm not sure who that reference is.
Duel of Fates is when Gorza fought Gawk.
Yes.
Yes.
40-year-old virgin is when Sirius ages up.
He
Bliss
didn't do it in
back.
that episode.
Or no, wait, no, maybe it's when Sirius hooks up with Courtney. It's a reference to Sirius. I know that.
Oh.
They fucked before that night, though.
I don't think so.
They didn't. There was one time
Uh-uh.
in outside of the Minor Woods that it was super awkward.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Sirius
Yeah.
didn't get it and was kicked out of the tent.
And we
Uh-huh.
were like mad about it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, no,
that
that's a reference to
totally
Oh no,
Sirius
it's right
and
here.
Courtney.
Okay.
that totally played into how he was because like he's been like sheltered like his whole life, so he was like he was kind of like this big old man child. So
You were
it's
raised
like,
by
you want to teach
bears.
me a trick? Cool. What is it?
Man literally raised by Disney movies and bears. Like Sirius takes Courtney aside and gives
Basically
her a
Mowgli.
magical arm, incorporating dragon scales and retractable claws fashioned by Lil Billy. She's touched, and then she and Sirius touch each other with sex. That's verbatim from the.
Sounds
That's
written.
accurate.
Terrible.
God, that's awful.
I'd forgotten about that. That's hilarious.
These are funny. Like I haven't checked the wiki in a while, but like the old shit's good.
You might have written the with sex part. I remember
I
you would
think
go
I
in
I
and
would
add
imagine
little like
that sounds like a Harlan thing.
Yeah.
Uh,
I probably wrote
I'll
the
laugh at
touchy
my
joke
own
part.
jokes. That's fine.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
think
it's-
Spencer might have wrote it.
I found the quote you were talking about, Sam.
Yeah.
It says, "You hear a voice in your head, and it says your friends will all burn."
Oh, okay, never
It,
mind.
it was just one of the dragons speaking to you telepathically, saying your
Okay.
friends will all burn.
Got it. Okay.
Oh, that's okay. That makes sense.
Never mind.
Yeah, dragons are telepathic sometimes. That's true.
Yeah.
Just talking shit.
Yeah, that surprised me. at
And
all.
it
It's like,
freaked you out.
I don't
It worked.
remember fight fire with fire. That doesn't sound like me.
I feel like that came up later, and we thought like, well, why would we fight, Briscoe with fire? That doesn't make any sense.
Something like that did happen, but I don't remember enough to like be able to help us place, and it doesn't. I mean, yeah.
That-
But
This
the
took
thing is
place-
The dragon things that made.
2 years and 1 month ago. So
Oh
So-
man.
I do remember saying "fight
Our
fire with
memories are-
fire" at some
Tha-
point. I don't remember.
thank
what
you.
character
Yeah.
said that to.
thank you, Base James, for recording all of this down to the fucking date we played.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can't do it without the date. You gotta see the date.
Actually.
The day
Incredible.
Someone's gonna have to do that job next time.
the before.
It doesn't have to be you, James, unless you enjoy it.
I mean, I do enjoy it.
He started it himself. I hope you enjoy it.
Yeah. I kept up with it.
It's just a lot of work.
Luckily for
It's
you,
actually
you can't
once I
stop
got
now.
it going, it is not a lot of work. But once establishing it, kind of was.
Yeah.
But now when I play, I basically just write notes as I go in the voice of the wiki, so I just have to type it out later.
That's awesome.
It works.
So it's quick now, but at the time it was like I gotta make entries for all the characters, and that took a while.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with the position of loremonger?
I am.
Okay,
I
cool.
think I might have chosen it
I think we
on the
gave it to you and you
application.
said yes, thank you.
yeah something like that.
Yeah.
I remember there were two that were similar though. There's loremonger and there's like stat master.
Oh, a Colton.
I-
Yeah, they keep track
Okay.
of kills and they keep track of relationships between factions and themselves.
Yeah.
I have
Which-
the paperwork.
They're like
Speaking
a
of
friendship book.
tracking kills, I don't know how many of y'all's were tracking your kills for the final battle, but Sirius was sitting at a hot 14.
Here's
I
my
was
problem with tracking kills is Kina never really killed anything, but she did like a lot of the damage for a lot of the things.
Well, yeah,
There were
the-
a lot of like,
Sweep.
final kills.
That's
the-
the
the
concern of
kill-
somebody in last place. Sounds like.
the
I mean, a
kills
little
would
bit,
happen
but-
in the
Kill
second
stealers.
round, and you did all of your damage in the first round, and then everyone would like you
Exactly.
loosened the pickle jar, and they went, "I got the kill."
Exactly. So like, fine, all of you can keep your kills and whatever, but like,
Totally not bitter. No.
Max Deeps goes to Kina.
huh?
Oh yeah,
That's true.
DPS master.
Max DPS Kina.
Damage per,
Damage per
Damage
second.
per second.
I'll take that. I like that. I'm looking over the
Damage per spell.
the
Thank you.
ooh,
Oh, there
damage.
you go.
That's
Wow,
way
that's
better.
really good.
Gotta get that
Uh,
hive mind together.
damage per spell slot.
DPSS.
DPS.
Does anyone have any additional questions? Spencer, of course, this extends to you as well. But if not, we can just like start freeballing if people want to throw topics out, and then we can just start spitting mad licks. Dropping
Campaign
rims.
1 or Campaign 2 stuff?
Oh,
Let's stay on one.
one.
Yeah,
Sure.
if
Are we going to
if,
get to Campaign 2 stuff tonight, or is that going to be a totally different night?
It depends.
Here,
We're not
if
gonna
you guys
cover
want
it
to
tonight,
talk
but-
about campaign 2 stuff, or even like the lack of information that involves it, please let's save that, because I do want to talk about that at some point. It doesn't have to be tonight. And I know Rachel's probably got some questions.
It would take more than
Rachel playing with us?
tonight to cover.
Oh, you're
That's
going to do
part
a...
of it.
Possibly.
Yeah, that's part of the discussion, which would take much longer than we probably have right
Oh,
now to handle.
I'm aware.
Yeah. I feel like we should also discuss before we add players.
yeah.
Yeah, you can't just add a player randomly.
Well,
Yeah, that's on
I
the
was
docket
trying
of
to-
stuff to talk
Well,
about.
Jan, I was trying to look at it like what you and Alex were doing, just kind of like share a character and split your time.
Sure, but let's discuss that as a party before going outwards. I mean,
This went so left field, my question. I meant that to be a simple yes or no.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to shoot us down a...
No, it's fine. It's
anything.
all on
No
the docket
camping
for
too.
later.
Cool, totally fine. Back
Yeah.
to Campaign 1. Spencer and Harlan, you both were awesome DMs.
Thanks. We tried sometimes.
I do have a question for both of you. Like, was it difficult to split? Did you like it?
I enjoyed it. The thing was that like we were both trying to get our footing in the very beginning, so like collaborating a lot in the very beginning was like the bread and butter of how this came to be. Really, like Harlan and I would go down to O'Neill's and have a few beers and play darts and just shoot the shit. I think at one point Harlan tried to pitch me on a magic train that went around the entire continent.
You watch Snowpiercer?
Oh
No, I
no,
don't
like
watch
I love
content.
Snowpiercer, but I don't think a magic train that goes around the continent had any place in this setting.
Then we scrapped it.
We scrapped it. It's fine, but like
Sand elves.
I think that it was difficult certainly when I moved away, but I
Mhm.
still think that Harlan and I got a lot of good nights and a lot
Yeah.
of cool stuff that we did. But I think that also a lot of the time it was like I did something and then Harlan would run with it and then I would run with it and then Harlan would run with it and I would run with it. It wasn't necessarily like super deliberately planned out.
Mhm.
I would not trade it for anything. It definitely took a lot of work and a lot of pushing each other and ourselves to like constantly be on the same page
Right.
and trying to find that middle ground between needing to know everything and wanting to put some surprises aside, and then
True. Yeah.
together freaking out when y'all do something and we're like, what do we do about this now? This like they killed everyone. They're all dead.
I'm gonna share something. So
Hit that button.
not this. Have I shown this before?
This is new.
This is
Snake hole.
my original intention for a flowchart of trying to plan out what the fuck you all were gonna do and how things would flow into one another given the quests after you can see the Grung prelude into I think that was season 3 at that point.
Yeah.
You recognize probably 3 cards on here. That's because
Not
you
many.
all went shopping and then went over here somewhere.
Pretty much.
And it just all went to
Checks
shit.
out.
I mean, some of this stuff did come up. Bliss story, Grove of the Lost, you know, but
Mm.
Minor
yeah,
Wood maybe.
But this was like drastically changed from
Mhm.
what was originally intended. Like, I think like this stuff sort of happened, not in order, and you never visited the Triumvirate. You never really dealt with the Tri-County and Grimshaw. But, like, there was a lot of storylines that and that's okay. We figured that out, that it wasn't necessarily you just needed a bunch of options. You needed one thread, and you needed to pull on that until it was gone.
Mm-hmm.
And then we hit it. Yeah,
That's what we did.
That was really cool.
it's always so
Yeah, it was a lot of wasted effort, and that's what I learned.
Most of
Yeah.
DMing is wasted effort. If you prep too much stuff, it's gonna end up being useless.
Yeah.
What were a couple of your like biggest, like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Like, where we went so off of the path.
There's no path. I just want to be clear for both Harlan and I. There is no predetermined path. We have an idea of what you'll do,
Yeah.
and we're
no, I
often
put you guys on
wrong.
Path. I stick y'all on rails constantly. That's the only way I can get anything done.
Well, yeah. Well, what was a time when it was very unexpected?
I already talked about Team Falchion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
2000. That's a good
Yeah,
one.
but like, were there other big ones? I guess.
Big ones,
What do you look?
probably not.
Not to relive it, but my personal favorite moments on this topic was having my character run through the portal, and you two immediately looking at each other, and then having to go into Harlan's room to plan what the fuck was on the other side of that portal.
Is this right
I
at the
love
first
that.
fight?
Harlan knew what was on the other side of the portal.
I have a very strong idea I like to pull up every now and then, and it's using captured people as magical batteries, and that's one of my favorite fallbacks for groups, is putting that in front of them, being like, oh shit, and then it's like, what do you do? Like, oh, there's no solution to that. But like, other than that, yeah, they were just in a remote spot where they could portal in safely, like get their shit together and not be disturbed. And yeah,
Let's see
but
here.
yeah, we didn't have that plan. We're just like, all right, they're in a tower, middle of nowhere. Don't worry about that. A couple of people keeping it charged. They can kill the people, but that would shut the portal down. Blah blah blah. I think you guys did end up killing one of the people that were powering it because you thought they were in cahoots.
Ballistic.
And then I think that
Yeah, Bliss was trying to destroy the portal,
yeah, I think someone else
Yeah.
killed
so
one
she
of the,
killed
captured
the
people.
battery.
We talked about
Kina
it.
went through the portal too, I think.
That sounds
There were like
right.
3 of us went through, I think.
No.
Oh, yeah.
It was
might have been.
Brodo, Sirius, and Bliss went through the portal.
I
That
Brodo
sounds
flew
right.
in.
Yeah.
I feel like Kina was
All
in
right,
there.
Kina was upset. I don't know. Like, either Bliss threw her back out of the portal,
I remember
or
that,
I think something. I don't remember.
Well, Coin
Or-
came back out of the portal.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, that's
she
right.
flipped the coin to you.
Yeah, she was upset that Bliss went into the
Toss the coin to
portal,
your
and
Kina.
then she tossed went to your Kina. That's cute.
I'm trying to think of another time that you like super went off rails. I just had it too.
Come back.
Sometimes I feel like the hard part is keeping people on the rails. It's like,
Not
When you
nature
killed
wants,
Santa.
man.
killing Santa was a good
Yeah.
neglected
Shit.
Santa.
When you fucking killed Santa.
Don't say kill. That's not
I
accurate.
tell everybody that.
Willful neglected Santa.
It was at worst like manslaughter.
You just
At
Worst
feeling.
manslaughter.
Worst.
Yeah,
It was
that is
not
at
murder.
worst.
You
killed
knew
himself.
Chris's partner was dead, poisoned in that house. You let him go in there, and then he came out face first, drunk off his ass into the snow, and you're just like, he'll deal with himself. He'll
He
be
made
fine.
his own choices. You know what I mean?
Let's steal his sleigh.
That was great.
I think James's immediate response was takes notice and then decides not to tell the rest of the party.
Yeah.
I was just like, let's go.
He'd escape a few times and then walk. Yeah.
Nothing to see here.
You know what? I think it was ultimately the right decision because we saw that the Chris Groucher mind control magic stuff was maybe not so good, and ultimately we
actually another
freed
thing.
White. We freed White.
That was another thing I didn't expect you
I
to.
disagree.
They were
What did
happy.
you-
They were like cheering at the end.
I thought they were kind of like blasé about it. They were like,
They were
"All right,
cheering.
we're good.
They were like dancing.
That's complicated because you also decided to destroy the tree there was many options to do there, like many things that you could have done, but you decided to destroy the tree and end the tradition entirely. Grancher was using it for his own malevolent, various purposes.
This is true.
I feel like Santa's.
And Chris
good-
just wanted to just give people presents.
Yeah.
I still feel like they were kind of under Chris's spell.
You guys deliberately destroyed an ancient tree that's been around for who knows how long.
That was a
Trees
great moment.
everywhere will curse your names.
That was a great moment.
I love having a druid that was raised by literal bears. It is always a challenge, and I love every second of it. Sirius is one of my favorite, like, avid role players at the table. Every
That's true.
decision is like, all right, I'm a devil raised by bears. How would I address this? And it's
That's-
always good. It's always good.
What a box to put him.
It's complicated, but it's good.
Thinking, actually, I do know one more time that you went off script and made for, I think, one of the most epic moments of the entire campaign, which was when you decided to teleportation circle out of the vault
Oh,
as the encroaching army was coming down on you. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, this is fucking rad as shit.
That was great.
I was expecting you all to be like this hurried escape from the vault, and Brodo's like, I got a teleportation circle. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be cool.
It's way
As you
better.
like
I love it.
held him off, and
That was so clutch. Like I honestly thought that escaping the vault by other means was like our ultimate decision. So I'm glad that James was able to do that. It just sucked that we had to like wait like what was it? Was it a 5 or 10 minutes?
it was a 1 minute, but it
1
was
minute. God, it
10
felt
rounds
forever.
of combat.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was the thing. Like, Brodo was just sitting there, like, doing this and trying to, like, hurry it along as everyone sees the encroaching army and, like, firing off their spells. Oh, it's so good.
I remember our resources were really depleted.
Yeah.
At
Yeah.
that point. Like we
Well-
we were low on health and we had low spell slots because we had just fought that like
was-
Yeah.
demon thing.
And
Uh,
Malfurion was
and
there.
we- Yeah,
Right?
and it was
Yep.
like this is
Yeah.
bad. If we were full strength, we probably could have fought out, but it didn't
Mhm.
feel like we could at the time.
Mhm.
There was
Perfect solution.
there was only 2 parts in our campaign where I deliberately looked up the stat blocks on something out of fear, both times, mind you. That was the second one because you mentioned a creature in there I was not familiar with, and I was trying to decide if I would have Sirius try to steal the Giant's belts because that thing's awesome. But the creature that was in there was just way over our power level. I'm like, there's multiples of these, will literally be shredded. There's no fucking way I could throw my sweet red boy in there.
I don't remember.
It was
what-
it was like that prey mantis thingy.
The Tricrine?
I think that's what it was, or something. I just remember looking at the stat block and I'm like, no, fuck
It was
yeah.
like a Hulker or something.
Oh, it was the Umbral Hulk.
Umbral
Yeah.
Hulk. Yeah, those things are fucked.
Those things are cool.
Yeah. So that was one of my 2 times that I did that while playing, and
No
No.
more. No more.
Just
of
saying.
that.
I didn't do it after that, and that was how long ago it was.
That's for
Just
everyone
saying.
else at the table. If they're like, oh,
Every
no.
single vault had a large amount of treasure that you could have stolen.
It's
Yeah, the vault was so tense.
I
Yeah.
Tempting.
think, didn't I?
It's just
Harlan,
Game
do
of
you still
Thrones
have the
top to
packet? I think I have all of the loot written down for each vault in
Oh, it
the
might be
packet that
stashed
you'd like
away.
open up.
I think I took all the shit out of those so I
Okay.
could make use of them, but I might have like the paper say. I may not.
No, you don't need them.
I
Yeah,
always
we're in
found
no
it really
combo.
fun and challenging when you both would have us in combat long enough to where we depleted our stuff and got low on health. Like they were stressful, but I appreciated the challenge, and I thought that those moments were really interesting.
It is very hard to push you guys to the point where that happens, and I constantly
Yeah.
try. And that's part of the reason combat is like half the night whenever I run, because it's just like cantrip, 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 conversation, cantrip. It's like, all right, well, 50 damage, 50 damage, bam, bam. And you guys got a lot of shit. You got a bunch of items that you can cast stuff through. Like,
Yeah,
getting to the point
Yeah.
of strain is
Mhm.
very difficult.
I would imagine. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, I would
And
imagine.
that's why I like low level combat.
That's actually kind of the beauty. Like we were running and Rachel's thing, at level 1, like having 2 spell slots, first level spell slots, and that's fucking it, is so brutal.
It's
Holy
tense.
hell.
You miss your
Yeah.
attack, you're probably dead next turn.
Yeah, it's like, oh shit, like I'm gonna go down and I've used all of my spells, which is 2. Great. I can't use any for utility. I need them to live. And it was super intense and super great. And I kind of want to start at level 1, but it doesn't make sense for campaign 2 given what we've already discussed. But we'll talk about it.
Yeah, there's a lot of C2
Yes,
we need to work
please.
through. There's like a lot. It's like half the stuff
Yeah.
I signed up on a year and a half ago, I'm not sure if I'm down for anymore. And it's a whole
Exactly.
On the topic of fun, big, stressful arcs, I guess my question for everybody would be, going alphabetically? Yeah, that works. What was everyone's favorite, I guess, like vignette, like set piece, like short story arc?
Yeah.
Like when you tell people about your campaign, what's your, oh, this one time we did X. What's that story for you? So I guess James, you would start.
I am alphabetical, aren't I? Wow. Oh, H is first, but
Well, I asked a question.
okay. This was also on my list as favorite arc or plot.
There you go.
Boy, favorite. Let's see. So once we started doing the shards, it was pretty contained. You know, it was like go to gate, do the gate, go to Silvering Tower, do that. That's sort of like that was pretty contained. And then there would usually be like a smaller thing between shard adventures. Before we started pursuing the shards in earnest, it was a little, they were smaller and it was more free flowing. Not that that's criticism, that's just the way, kind of the way it was. As far as my favorite goes, I'm probably gonna give it to our Fort Maw adventures. I thought those were really fun.
Every single one of them?
In general, yes. What? Probably. I mean, because going between the fort and then the Weaver, and then didn't we fought Gawk the Reckless at Fort Maw too?
Yeah.
Because he like came down with his orcs. Yeah, that's right. Maybe that. I'm gonna give it to that one actually.
The Gawk invasion.
I mean, Gawk invasion, getting that shard.
That was pretty sweet.
Yeah,
honestly.
that was like, it was very, like, we were super dialed in. It was very engaging. It was very tense. It was like, oh fuck, you're about to fight Gawk the Reckless. You know, it was really good.
It's him. He's here.
Yeah.
Was that the first time, Spencer, you and I co-DM'd behind a screen, or am I forgetting something?
That wasn't for Gawk. The first time we co-DM'd was
Just
for
like the dragons after that.
For the dragons after that, yeah.
They came like maybe 6 or 7 episodes later, but we were still at Fort Maw.
That's right. That's right. Would you say, is it the general aesthetic of the whole Fort Maw bubble, the big game hunters, kind of Jurassic Parky, Monster Hunter aesthetic that you're into, or is it the sort of smaller scale community of like, there's not a lot going on here, but there's these very like influential, powerful characters around, or is it the like wilderness connection? You got this weird shit going down south with this giant. Like, what about it tickles your fancy?
Having the Noble Rot there as like engaging characters that were on our side was fun.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one.
And it was a lot of high stakes combat, you know, between Gawk and between when we went to the Weaver both times. Yeah, and the aesthetic is really cool. I mean, that Jurassic Park trophy hunter in the jungle, like, it's, you know, it's like graphics in a video game, right? Like, it's not the only thing, but if they're good, it's better. And that was a really good theme.
I have a quick anecdote about that. That was very, very early in the campaign. We had no map for Juniper. We didn't even have a name for Juniper. And this was shortly after you murdered the woodsmith in Drogmore.
Oh, I love Drogmore.
And Harlan, before the game, said, I just got a bunch of cool dino minis. Send them to a jungle.
That sounds like something I would say.
Yeah, you're like, I got a bunch of cool
Yes.
Dino minis because Tomb of Annihilation just came out and they
It
had the
did come
minis with
out,
those.
yeah. Fuck.
And you're like, send them to a jungle, and I was like, okay, we go to Thundercliff, and then Arlen's like, Wilderness Preserve. That is. That is
Oh god.
how
I
it
picked
came
that
to
name.
be,
Ugh.
and
Love it.
Because that's where we went right after we left Drogmore.
It was
Huh.
really the only
I didn't
place to go.
realize that was so early.
It was pretty early. You guys
that was
picked
like
up
the 6th
quick.
episode.
You were.
It was right after Briscoe betrayed us.
No,
It was.
that early? Holy shit!
Yeah, welcome
guys-
to Off-Brand Jurassic Park.
You guys met Briscoe like episode 5 or 6.
It was really
So it
early.
was after
5.
Briscoe.
5.
Yeah, you guys were ostracized from Drogmore. I could talk for an hour about Drogmore. And then you're like, well, where the fuck do we go? Well, I guess we'll
Holy
go
shit, it
west.
is.
You know, just go west for a while.
Yeah, we had the Cube Night in a dungeon, and then we had the Briscoe Night in another dungeon, basically. And then we had Fort Maw.
Yeah.
Yep, there it is. And then went to Whiten. Shit.
It's
Yep.
just-
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
Christmas.
And I did my one-off for y'all's.
Yeah, that's a good run of.
That's
we
a
started strong.
this is like a huge between the Timber episode where we killed the woodcutter and then left Drogmore, and then the Cube episode, and then the Briscoe episode. That's just like a 3-episode run. That's incredible.
Yeah.
We were going full speed at that point. I think
Yeah,
games were
we're-
every other week back then, so we had.
They were every week.
Every week.
I think. Yeah.
And shit, we just
Yeah.
lost our magic apparently. I guess.
No, we did
No,
not.
no.
So all of the NPCs, I'm pretty sure Spencer can take all of the credit for Team Falchion, the Noble Rot, or like 80%. Let's say 80%.
Oh, I mean, I did make them all, and the Noble Rot is actually all of their names are based off of some of my favorite artists, musical artists. So there you go.
100%.
I have Courtney, who's actually Courtney Barnett. Sharon of the Etten is Sharon Van Etten. Alela is actually Alela Diane, and then who's the fuck? Oh, Annie is Annie Clark St. Vincent.
Annie, fuck.
So
She deserved better. I do.
yeah, it's okay. Those two were forgotten. It was all about Alela and Courtney, anyways.
They were the
Well,
strongest.
they died.
Courtney's
They
still
did.
around. Thank God.
Courtney's still around. Alela's rip.
But the 2 other Noble Rot members died, and then we resurrected them later, I think.
Did
Yeah.
the Resurrect? I remember them. I don't
They-
remember
they
resurrecting them.
were-
That takes considerable resources.
I don't think we resurrected Noble Rot members. I think they had died before we had met the dwindled Noble Rot members, right?
They turned into like animals or something.
They
That was the whole Minor Woods thing, where you had Courtney
right.
and Alela
right.
had you out there trying to
Yeah.
find an escaped displacer beast, which actually was them
them.
transformed
You're right.
by the Weaver.
Yeah.
You did
Hmm.
unsplit them, but they were dead, and I think they were dead outside
Yeah.
the resurrection window, and you guys didn't have the level of
You're right.
magic to do anything stronger.
I was thinking of later, after one of the later Fort Maw fights, we spent some resources to resurrect some of the dead people. But it wasn't.
So in serious work together to bring back a
Yeah.
good handful.
Yeah, we
Sirius
could be wrong.
reincarnated a bunch of people in a very tiefling lane. I had a very custom-made reincarnation table that all felt thematically relevant to everything that was going on with Sirius at the time, which is why it was nothing but tieflings and fire genasi and like a minotaur, maybe.
Yeah,
'cause
the
that was
Minotaur, I
cool.
love
It was
that
like
one.
some monstrous races were in there as well. So that was fun. You said you pull up your list and it's like, I got it right here. I'm like, no. My list. It's very happy.
All right,
with
let's
that.
go to Kyle. What was your favorite
Yes, thank you.
piece?
Oh man. I mean, obviously, all of my emotional eggs went into any Briscoe related night. So the first one was what probably started to drastically transform my joke of a character because I didn't know what I wanted to do with them. The second encounter with Briscoe, myself and in turn my character were just like narrow vision on trying to get him and being so ridiculously furious when he escaped a second time.
That's a good
Like,
character name.
yeah, and then it was after that every little opportunity to get something to try to trap him in the future was just like, I had to have it. Got to get that. But I think those two events probably fast-tracked my character's personality, and I loved that the most.
That's fair.
They're
Yeah.
definitely the ones I
Did.
remember. The Weaver fight was probably one of the ones I can remember where it felt the most dire, because from how the setting was created for us, there was little to no way to escape, like physically leave,
Yeah,
and
you were fucked.
it was very uncomfortable because the only variable was like fight our way out, and every round it made it feel like it was becoming less and less of an option. So I thought this is where the party wipe was going to be. I was 90% convinced this was how it was going to happen. So that was probably my most favorite intense nights.
I love it.
That was sweet.
I didn't think the Weaver negotiations would have been on your docket, and that's really interesting for me.
See, I think it's hard, and Harlan, correct me if I'm not speaking for you, but I think it's hard for us to realize sometimes how dire situations can be or how intense it can be for players. Just like given everything, because I didn't like. Maybe I just misread those that fight because I didn't think it was like super dire. I thought it was like, yeah, you're gonna be pushed to your limit, but it's not like, yeah, I'm fucking TPKing these assholes right now. These guys are gonna wipe them out. But
I think I know what happened. So we descended on the fortress, and we meet the Weaver,
Bottle
big old
bulls?
storm giant. And then it was like surrounding us all above were like countless monstrosities.
Yep.
And I think what it would have been mechanically was the monstrosities have like an area of effect once per round. But at least the way I interpreted it was we're about to get flooded by like literally hundreds of things that are just going to swarm us. Right.
We're
And
getting
so I was like,
zerged
the fighting really isn't an option right now in the way that it was described. And now looking back on it as a more experienced player, I think you probably would have done it mechanically as like a crowd effect. Like once per round they do a saving throw or something like that. But it was sounded like we were about to get mobbed by like hundreds of monsters.
It's like all of her creations.
Yeah.
that definitely could have happened. But if you remember, it wasn't all of her creations. It was a bunch of her little minions. It was a bunch of those fucking fish people and goblins and whatever else that were if you remember, there was cages everywhere with actual animals, like beasts in there, not her beasts.
Ready for the
beasts.
splicing.
Yeah.
And then there were
But Jim
other
was still
floors.
upstairs.
Oh, Jim was
Jim's-
still upstairs.
Jim scared the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jim was scary. Jim was great.
God, fucking Jim.
I love Jim.
And then Jim the Third. Like, you get to
Good
meet
Jim
him. He was beautiful. Yeah, no, that fucking whole meeting, I was a player of that one. That was definitely a lot. And a lot in the best way.
Yeah, that was good.
As for the, we probably could figure out a way out of there if we started throwing fists. Like, man, maybe not. There are some situations that are like, you throw down fists here, you are gonna have the worst night. And I don't know for sure that was one of them, but those
It felt
situations
like
do
it.
exist. There's not always the we can get out of here easy solution. Then, choice paralysis kicks in, and it's like, I don't know what to do.
But James brings up a really good point. Like, after all the time that we have spent playing and the few times that we've actually spent behind the DM screen ourselves, it kind of gives us a more mechanical approach to how we might be able to solve, problems in the future. I definitely felt that most of our decision makings were more emotionally based than mechanically, and I think that transformed into our final fight.
What would you say, Zip? Sorry. Go ahead.
I would argue that your most clever and best decisions were not mechanical at all in any way, shape, or form.
That's a fair point. It doesn't have to be like our best decision, but I do think that like our thought process did change, whether that was for the best or for the worst. But you're right. There were a lot of fun stuff that were made just because it kind of like no, this is happening.
Yeah. And that makes for fun.
It did.
Some of my
It
favorite
does.
stuff is when people are just like, nope, put it down on the table and it's like, here's what we're doing. It's like, all right, you attempt to body slam a dragon. Let's see how this goes, and then
Jesus
it works.
Christ. Still can't believe that
It's-
happened. That's my
yeah.
favorite moment.
Oh gosh, Sam, what is your favorite?
I also have a comment about the Weaver, the same Weaver fight, because that also stuck out very strongly in my head, and I agree with what James was saying, that at the time when we were down there, I thought that it was a lost cause, that if we didn't figure out a different way to do it, then we would be killed by like the release of all of the caged things, because I forgot that some of them were animals and not all her creatures. And then I think like during that fight, what I really liked was that we kind of got depleted again. We had to come up with different things, and Tina used her the gaseous form potion to not be like
Yeah.
put into, not be made the example, but whether it was her doing that or somebody else doing something like that, I loved when we would get into a position where it's like, I got it, like you either have to do something drastic or you die, and then you do the thing and it works. And that's just like the example I have that that like I can think off the top of my head. But as far as story arc goes, I think my favorite would have been the Hina's staff, the whole story arc of the staff. I loved that. I thought that was amazing, and like
Fire
the
giant
full
staff?
yeah, and like obviously the ability was great. It was like it was amazing, but that it like started as just a magic item, and then it was a being, and then using that being to fight a dragon daddy, and like
He has a name. They have a
I
name as
know.
Bladefire.
And
I
we're
know,
using
but-
it.
But
Fucking-
Dragon Daddy in jorts is just too good.
Curse you, Harlan.
It's
More
just
things in
too
jorts.
good.
Everyone wears jorts. That's canon.
I mean, Harlan was trying to get James to wear joints for Halloween.
He didn't need my convincing to do that.
We'll talk.
yeah, like being able to take the staff, use the staff, and then it turns into this whole other thing, and then using it in a new way. And I really
Mhm.
liked the story arc behind her staff.
The evolution of a weapon.
I was very impressed with what Spencer was able to do with the staff.
Yeah.
I had like a little trinket toy I got it was on sale at Target, and it was like, this could be like a cool thing that we give them. And Spencer was like, I got it. Giant lives in there. I'm like, what? Big old fireman. What?
That is cool.
Kina gets it. Magic staff. Silverwing clan. That's her biz. Like, what? Oh, okay, yeah.
I love
cool.
it.
I should
I
probably,
liked it.
I should give you that little trinket so you can do something with that. I forgot to do that at the finale. I'll do that next time I see you. It's somewhere in the. You can like make a
I'd
necklace.
like
out
to
of it or
see it. I
something.
don't remember. I don't
okay.
remember what it was like.
Let's see if I can find it on the internet.
I also really, I thought it was really, I don't even know what word to put into it, but Bliss and Kina, and watching Bliss and Kina, like that was,
I don't know how it worked.
And Bifo. That was all great.
okay, well, yeah,
Fucking
Bifo
Bifo.
too.
Bliss,
Bifo
Kina,
too.
and Bifo all together. Yeah.
Bifo
Yeah,
was
but
it.
watching that progress was really something.
There were
Something
some
about
very real moments in there that, like, I'm thinking of when Bifo had the knife, the teleportation knife, in the basement of the temple, and you had to
Yeah.
talk him down.
Yeah,
Oof.
yeah.
Because he's
Right,
got a
that was
wonderful
right
hole.
after Pip died too. It was
Yeah.
like, holy shit.
Yeah, I really enjoyed being pushed RP wise, and I think Bliss and Bifo pushed me RP wise constantly, and I found that really exciting, and it was very fun.
I mean, that I see as like the turning point in all of the campaigns was the it was like two things like back to back, which was the deciding not to keep Team Falchion, kill Team Falchion, and then there was like one little moment fighting the spiders where Bliss just took Kina and put her above
her
to protect
shoulders.
her, and then that was
Mhm.
like that was
Yeah.
like the turning point for like RP.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Putting her
trying to
on her
remember how it
shoulders
started.
was.
It's pretty much
like-
that.
Sam has no idea because I just came. I remember the moment everybody like it was a known thing at the table. It Bliss and Kina were together, and I, as Sam, had no idea that it was happening.
It's
And
like
I was
dating in
like,
high school.
what? It was just because I remember
We
Spencer
gaslighted
saying
you,
in
yeah.
Blitz, "This is Kina," and I was like, huh?
Did we trick you into
To
RP
I have
dating?
no idea.
I think we
Y'all
tricked you.
incepted that.
I don't
yeah,
know.
I don't
he
remember
was
how it
just,
that
started.
fan service.
fine. Like, I had no problem with it. I just like it was really funny because I had no idea that was happening, which I feel was very, very on point with Kina, too. Is she would have had no idea.
that's fair.
It's like, oh, I
Yeah.
guess I have a girlfriend now. Oops.
Yeah.
Oops.
Oops.
It was more like Bliss was just super protective, and that I was like, I don't have a character besides just a sarcastic asshole, so she's also super protective. Who's she protective
Yeah.
of? The smallest one in the party. Cool, let's
Yeah.
do it.
It
Yeah.
worked.
Yeah.
I love Bliss.
Bliss is not even close to the main character. Not even close.
Not even close.
She is
She's
the
the
least
main
important
Probably
character
character.
in the Soup Troop by
Least
far.
developed, probably. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but
We still developed her though. We had backstory.
yeah, of course.
Do what we
I
can.
have a follow-up question after this, so people will remind me. But Harlan, what was your favorite moment? What was your favorite arc?
Yeah. We'll do my arc, then get to your arc, and then to your point. Selfishly, I really like the Velk stuff. It's the same part of you're swapping DM duties. Characters don't get as much development or action as they would otherwise. And the fact that you are able to exactly hone in on there's not a lot of depth to like the character like of Karth. He's an anime boy who likes to punch, and he has a
It's a lot
sad
of depth
backstory, and he
it
misses
involves
his
the
friend.
Underdark.
No,
There's a
there
lot.
was like 9 pages of backstory.
Yeah,
there's
all accounts to
half of them
he misses his
apostrophes,
dead friend.
granted.
He's in a system he doesn't like, and he feels abandoned. Blah 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 blah. Like all the teenage angst you could ever want. But the fact I got to feel like the main character for a little bit felt great. I got the final like the one-on-one stand that I wanted to do at the top of the tower while everyone else got to do the important stuff at the bottom of the tower. I really liked splitting the party to attack the issue from both fronts, kill the old blood, and deal with Cruel. I like that. It was a very dramatic action movie. That's what I like. I like. I mean, the scene of like Karth just like doing himself in, and then Spirit Realm fight, and then having to explain what happened to people who weren't there the next week. Is like Karth died again. It's like what?
Yeah. I
Yeah,
remember
he's
I was
still dead.
a little devastated.
There was a lot going on, and that was fun. Feeling like the main character in an action movie felt great. Other than that, it's mostly nights that I ran for people that I would consider my favorite thing. Probably no
what was your
arc.
favorite night?
I love the playwright stuff, top to bottom, head to toe. I think I'm most proud of that, except for the pacing of the storyline. But I don't get control of that if I'm not the only DM. So whatever.
Well, it was on the side, you know.
It was on the side, but I wanted to
Yeah, so
like
it had to be fit
address
in.
that way earlier and like get more of a flow rather than just like the stale heartbeat for a while on that. And the longer that status quo maintains, the harder it is to break away from it, which is a struggle. But top to bottom, I think I love the playwright stuff the most.
Really cool.
thematic inspiration for it, the representation of them, their lore, how it affected Brodo consistently, all of the clone stuff, and how it always came back to oozes every fucking time. It's always the
Yeah.
fucking oozes, and then I got to bring the
The
Oblex
cube
out.
stuff was
With
that's
the
fun.
So-
perfect excuse to use the Oblex.
The ooze is kind of like a fun one to bring up because I remember I think it was the week before we did the final ooze fight to figure out that it was a clone. James and I were on a hike, and we're about like 6 or 7 miles into this one, and we just started brainstorming like, what if it got his DNA? Oh man! And we went off the rail on it, and then the next week we
did
come to the
kind of
table and we're
predict
like,
Yeah.
Did no it
sorry, Henry, that was me.
it
Because
had
we were
to-
hiking between the first episode where Clone Brodo was introduced, but before the second one where we resolved it. And so we were like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah,
We talked about it for like 20 minutes.
Yeah,
That's phenomenal.
we were close.
Yeah, I remember at one point I was like, I think there's some cube fuckery here, dude.
I like it followed you all
Yeah.
the way from the dungeon.
Yeah.
it did.
But
It
we
did.
I
didn't like,
loved it.
commit to that as the answer. We had a lot of theories.
Oh yeah, there were a lot of
Yeah.
them, but it was just really fun to just kind of like go off in that direction and get really excited about like this theory crafting, and then see parts of it come to fruition the next week. That was fun.
Yeah.
Harlan got so many miles out of that I was like, are you sure you want to do this? Like, yeah. It's like, oh shit, this is.
I want to make him a
This is
warlock. Let's
rad.
go. Yeah.
It was a very cool like adventure and mystery.
It,
And it's funny because like the clone Brodo did like half of what real Brodo now like has as his identity, you know, with the opera house and the
mhm.
Yeah.
it's like Brodo kind of like, well, this stuff kind of works. I guess I'll just keep going with this.
Yeah, he
Even though I
did
didn't
what-
do
Here's the real Brodo.
Yeah.
If you weren't distracted by adventuring, he just did what you would have done, which
Yeah.
was like
No, yeah.
get
Me-
fame, get money, find your ex-wife, like
Try to
all
be a
that
star.
shit.
One
Yeah.
theory we came up with was that James's character was actually the fake, and so he's been playing the clone the whole time,
I thought about
and that
that.
we were gonna come across the real one.
Thought
Yeah.
about that.
That'd be so good, but that would be impossible to pull off. You can't just like approach a player and be like, by the way, you're the fake one.
You can.
You
I mean,
can,
the
but
fake
it's
one
like,
could kill the real one.
It's never
Or
off
the original.
table.
Yeah.
It-
oh,
I
God.
want to do that one time for a different group. The
I
could
don't
talk
know,
about the
we came up with
playwright.
it.
for an hour, but let's circle back to that later. Spencer, what was your big favorite, and then your
Yeah.
question?
So the original question was, what's the night that you tell everyone?
Like, what's the
Um,
arc? What's the
No, I just
Right.
tell them about the 2 Christmas nights every single time. I tell them about the time that you found the basically a town that celebrated Christmas in an off time, that you went to go save Santa from the Groncher, because I make it like stupid and ridiculous, and you ended up killing Santa and stealing a sleigh and crashing it, and then the Groncher ended up taking over, and then you had to destroy Christmas forever.
what if the Grinch
I leave
won?
out some details, but you know, that's fine.
What if the Grinch won?
You could have,
He did.
but
For a bit.
That's still a victory.
that's the night I always tell people of what type of games I like to run, which are dumb but have very lasting impacts with people.
Yeah,
My
that was
fa-
really good.
I loved it.
Our very first one-off, right?
That was the very first holiday special.
I think so. Yeah.
It's not one-off because it was still with our in the plot, but like it was sort of contained.
Like a non-linear, like
I consider it as contained as, you know, the night Sam ran and the night that I ran. It's like we still
Yes.
made references to it and we still had
Yeah.
things from it,
Yeah.
but it was in its own contained space.
like a
And-
special
But it happened in
event.
the canon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like a special event. It's like, we're taking a break. You're here now. You're doing this. Happy Christmas.
It's like a mini arc inside of like an actual season of a show. It's like this happens for like 2 episodes and it's done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a gym interlude.
Yeah, they go to the beach.
Yeah, they go to the beach. It's like an anime.
God, we
Yeah.
should have done more anime stuff.
So
Harlan,
again,
you were an anime. What do you want?
It was a
Screen
decent.
time.
Forza was also pretty anime.
Very.
Forza is a very
Um,
specific anime.
I mean,
like JoJo.
The other thing that I loved was this was a specific night, but still Death of a Spider. Like
Yeah.
everything about that night was so good because it was, and I'm like toot my own horn, but at the same time, you
can
all
toot it.
did all the things, so it doesn't matter. The discussion with Venom Fang, the discovery of Calderock and the ruins of it and the lore behind it, Sirius and not Cheryl at that point. Who was the other one?
Titanius.
Titanius.
Titania. Yeah.
Titania holding down
Mm.
the ritual fort
That's
from
right.
the undead.
That was cool.
Yeah.
That's really
Yes.
strong.
Well, we had to
And
like go
then,
in and kill the hag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then obviously the yeah, so yeah, actually no, those were a few nights. So yeah, that right there
Those were a few
is my favorite from like
The
there was a lot of
Calderock.
clever things and a lot of failures. As Sam you mentioned earlier, it was like when I do a clever thing and it works out, and I was like, you all were trying to do clever things for Venom Fang, and it just was.
Yeah.
She was like, no, fuck this.
That was a really good lesson because not only did it give us the opportunity to realize that we can't talk our way out of every situation easily, and two, what happens when we don't all have the same plan. Those are two important things that happen at the same time. Yeah. And we also learned that dragons are pretty fucking clever just all by their lonesome. So
And deadly.
Yeah, and that so it had like a breath attack, and it killed Karth. And I remember Sirius was on like 1 or 2
Happy
HP,
to help.
hardly
And-
anything.
and Brodo
Tina was doing
would have.
downstairs.
He went down actually.
Okay, maybe he went down. And Brodo
Yeah.
would have went down if he didn't have poison resistance, which is something dwarves get. So it was like, holy shit. Like, we almost had like 2 or 3 people die right there.
There was at one point Kino was reaching through the wall of thorns, taking damage to give someone a health potion.
Yeah.
Such a hero.
And then, yeah, Sirius had to barricade himself in the room while the rest was went to like the Haggett universe or whatever.
Haggerverse. That was
That was
great.
good.
Sorry, I have to remind myself a lot of the early stuff because I black out
There's
when
a
I
lot of
do
early
stuff, and then I don't take notes when Harlan does it because I'm tired.
That's fine.
I'm sorry, Harlan.
No, that's fine. I don't take notes. Stuff happens on the nights where I run and I don't take notes, and it's like, all right, I forgot what happened. You're a duck now, and play it by
We're
ear.
playing Duck Campaign.
Woohoo.
Right off the bill. Spencer, did you have a question for the round table, or are you?
Yeah, I did.
Is that the what? How do you explain the game?
Oh, sorry.
They want to test. the
One
wrong
more
question, too.
thing, which was my other favorite arc was first time on the Red Galleon that Harlan ran
Ah.
with
Yeah.
Agma and the Briscoe fight on the Galleon, which was like that is one of the like I don't often get to feel like the main character too, or like a player, like with a capital P, and I felt like I had no idea what was going on. This was fucking great.
I've always gotta be careful.
And that's what I do really appreciate
Harlan.
about you two running these campaigns for us was that you made everybody at the table, yourselves included, feel like they were the main character. We joked about, like Brodo being like the main character when we were doing like his thing, and Gorza being the main character when we were doing her thing. But honestly, everybody got to feel that way, genuinely. I think, if I
Yeah,
Were
but
to
in
speak for the
canon,
party, it was
Gorza
great.
is the protagonist.
It's probably Gorza when you get down to it.
She has
Sirius
that
is a
little, like,
plot
diamond above her
contrivance,
head.
and
Yeah.
Brodo's like the sassy
sail.
backup singer, and Keena's like the one everyone's crushing on the internet, and Bliss is like the step on me Demetriska, and I can say this because no one's listening to me.
No, we
that,
do.
that
No,
is
I am listening.
You shouldn't. It was very important for us to make sure that everyone felt like their character got the spotlight. When I was running the Bear Knight, I did everything I could and stressed about everything I could to make sure Sirius felt like he was coming home, and I hit him with everything I had emotionally, physically, aesthetically. Like I created the Fae just so I could put them around the Bear Grove to kind of explain how they operate. Because like we didn't have any of the face stuff prepped until I took that night over. I mentioned like quarter seasons, and Spencer was like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's 4 things." And he's like, "All right, that's fun. He's cool. They're cool. That one's cool. Is that one made of autumn? I love it."
It's great.
I loved it. I also like that when they were referring to previous seats at the court, as like, what, like, so who was the winter before you? He's like, well, it's constantly changing. And I'm like, that's so thematic. I love it.
I'm very happy with that.
Yeah.
Building stuff for everybody, and didn't get to finish the Bliss stuff, but maybe we will one day. And
That's mostly on me and how I RP'd that character. She was like, I want nothing to do with this, and I don't want to face my past because I'm scared.
I didn't have plans for it, so that's great.
Okay.
We had a finale to get to.
I know.
I wanted Bro to feel like he was being pulled in multiple directions by multiple things that just wanted to use him. That was very big for the Broder interactions, making Kina feel like a member from a community that she could go back to and count on, and the relationship with Calloway was one of my favorite things. Like, I loved all of that, and like getting an excuse to like talk about the high level, like, here's how the planes work in our world, and to a character who's like, okay, cool, but just like he's all
how original magic starts.
Yeah, like origins of magics, everything he knew or thought he
You
knew.
can tell us stuff.
Yeah.
And I love being able to make spells with him. Like, that was so fucking cool.
So cool.
Calloway was a great NPC.
Calloway's, I love Calloway.
So,
based on
things.
Reese's the Wise from podcast, 100%. Again,
The Reese's or your old Snickerdoodle?
Snickerdoodle. Sorry.
I saw him as Master Roshi from Dragon Ball.
Oh, he's totally
A little bit of Roshi too. Sorry.
Yeah.
like just the dirty old man.
Yeah.
The old master, but he's also like a perv.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, like, part of the revelation that Harlan and I had in the original idea for this was that we were watching the C Team, and then we realized that I know Harlan and I played D&D before, and it was never like very character heavy. It was like just like a thing to play a kind of tactics game and kind of do these kind of bullshit character thing in the background. And then we saw the C Team, and it was the revelation. It's like, wait, you can do that? People can be the main character? You can have emotional stakes? This is rad.
You can be an actor for 20 minutes and then do math for 20 minutes and you just
was great.
rotate. It's great.
But my question that I actually want to ask that you teed me up for is, who is everyone's favorite NPC?
Good question.
Bliss doesn't count, obviously, nor does Karth.
They're half PCs.
No, those are player characters, not
Those are player
NPCs.
characters.
Yeah.
And Fu doesn't count. Oh, I mean, Fu can't count, actually.
They're
That's
player
fine.
facades. Who's a NPC?
I have a list of
Count
my
Fu
favorite
because-
NPCs,
Oh, wow.
but
Hey, you
I don't
keep
want to dominate the
prepared.
whole thing. Yeah, I wrote this a long time
Do you
ago.
want to go last?
Yeah, I'll go last.
Okay.
I'll fill in the gaps so you guys don't mention.
Does Fu count as an NPC?
I feel like yes. There was
Who's an NPC?
development.
I don't know. Kyle, do you want to go first?
I mean, I would say that obviously the first NPC that I fell in love with was definitely Courtney's character, but that was because it was just kind of like this wizard and all like these pash robes, and then kind of like using the fingernails as like the spell focus. I thought that was sweet. I loved it. The character design. But as far as kind of like a character that was like always fun to like kind of like go back and interact with, man, I'm definitely having a hard time with that one because I've never really sat down and really thought about that. Mostly because every time we played, I never expected to come across the same NPC again, I guess.
Most of the time they don't. That's fair. Baby.
And it could be a one-off.
I'll
And
share.
it can't, oh, for you, it can't be Stone Sneck. Sorry.
That's okay.
No
That's
canon.
like a no development.
That was a treat for me, and I appreciated it.
It's a little Easter egg.
Should have
Like
put
a
in his
list.
pants before
I
he
don't know
called
that
him
I could
favorite.
give like one or two. That's what I'm having a hard time with. Is I can't pick just like.
If you want to just start rattling a couple of
my
names,
little-
that's fine. James has
Let me give you one of mine.
Yeah,
So
go for it, James.
probably my favorite was Bladefire, because not only was it a cool villain who had like a very like interesting, personality and position in the world, but the build up to Bladefire was like long and the payoff was very good. Because I remember it was like months and months before we knew that Bladefire was like a big silver dragon that was living in the tower.
Mhm.
It was like, what's going on with the Silverwing versus the Tarnished Feather, and what are these daggers with the feathers, and like what's with this like drama that's happened in the Silverwing that we don't know anything about, and it was like the information was dripped in, and then it was obviously very planned, and then when we learned about it and then fought it and killed it, like that was very cool. And then it respawned as Penge, which is really cool. Like
I
call that
love
the same one.
Penge so much.
So I thought Blackfire was a really cool villain, really well telegraphed. Good job on that one for sure.
Fuck, your insights into our game always astound me, and I appreciate them so much.
I just remember it was like, what is going on with Silverwing? And it was a long time before we figured it out.
Yeah. It's cool. I love the look of horror on everyone's face when you found out that the kids were playing with an eagle's heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Sirius was like, I'm gonna kill the kids. And everyone's like, no, don't fucking kill the kids.
Devil Raised by Bears, once again, is the best part of the game.
Beefo is another really good NPC.
Oh,
Yeah.
God, Beefo.
Which version of Beefo?
I mean,
Yeah,
I like the
have
Eric
to.
Cartman
Yeah.
version.
Fuck.
Oh, hey,
Which
it's me,
one?
Catman.
Oh
The
man,
Eric Cartman from South Park version of Beefo, where he's
No.
like chubby and he goes like this.
No.
that's how I picture him. I'm sorry.
Oh.
That's how I
just-
picture him.
Mammakina.
You.
Really fine.
See, I played Beefo. For me, was like this sweet little innocent child who has like this tortured past already, and then for Harlan, it's just like this, like he has that tortured past, but he's still like a comic relief. And he's like,
Charlie brought her D&D bear.
Aww. They died for our
that's
cause.
fair.
How dare you?
I love the greaser vampires.
Yeah.
Ooh, those were good.
Definitely one of my favorite silly characters.
Chad and Chet.
Chat.
Chad and Chet, exactly. And it was like trying to go toe to toe with like trying to be like kind of greasery with them, and they're just like, "No, man, you're outdated. You're an old sock." I'm like, "Oh shit,
You're a
these
fucking
guys are."
perk. They're 500 and calling you old school. It's like, oh shit.
And
That was fun.
one of them is where Sirius got his green coat,
Yeah.
and the other
Yeah.
one is where Brodo got his loot.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, Das loot.
Yeah.
They were holding the loot.
Yeah, good stuff came from that actually.
That loot got you.
There were-
marks, like
The return of Bella, I actually really
Yeah.
enjoyed
Yeah,
her coming
super
back
cool.
later because we totally forgot all about her. It's,
There
a
were
busy-
About
several
that. She came back
mentions.
several times.
Yeah, she came up several times under the
It was
name.
Griffey.
Hmm?
Griffey brought her up.
Yeah, Griffey brought her up.
Griffey.
Yeah.
Another great
Griffey
NPC, by
was also
the way.
really good.
Griffey's doing
Yeah.
shit.
Fantastic.
Uh,
actually.
All I'm getting is that Harlan and I do really good dumb children or gross old men.
Yeah.
Well,
that's D&D.
but your important villains though were also very well done too, because they didn't just like come out of nowhere. Every single one of them had like a thin trail leading up to them, and they were expanded on, not always by our own volition actually, even though we tried to force it. Obviously Briscoe, Weaver,
Bladefire.
yeah, Bladefire. Those were three big powerhouses in my opinion.
Vampires too. Bella was like we actually she appeared periodically because I remember we saw her make a deal with Malfurion at
Yes,
like the base of a temple or whatever,
before
and then
we
like
knew
they
it was
shook
her.
hands and they teleported away, and we're like,
That
And
was
then-
the third time you went to that druidic temple.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right.
Or
He
no,
left,
that was
she
the second
stayed.
time. No, that was the third time. That was the third time you went to that druidic temple. Holy shit.
And then like
No, it was second time. You did fight
second.
the vampires with Briscoe.
yeah, they were there.
That was the
I don't know
first
if
time,
Bella was
yeah.
there, but and then like she abandoned Briscoe and we talked to her late in the woods.
Yeah.
That was
Sirius
fun,
made like
season
some deal with
6.
her and
Yeah.
turned into
Right, too.
Thunderer. Yeah.
I was gunning for having my character become a vampire.
Could have happened,
Right.
but
Seems
you
like it.
had other shit going on that kind of dominated that choice, unfortunately.
I had a lot of plans for my character that I was pretty set on trying to put into motion, and making him a vampire was actually one of them. I was trying to push that envelope really hard.
If it wasn't for
I
plot,
just-
maybe.
I gotta call out the fear on everybody's faces when you turned into Flame Sirius and then the rope wrapped around you and started pulling you towards Mount
Yeah.
Vesuvius. Everyone was just like,
That was tense.
what
was
are we
good.
doing?
It was scary.
The,
Terrifying.
we can tell Alex about it later, but the standoff between
Oh, hello.
her and Karth was like in Sirius's corner while he was in
Oh,
that
yeah.
crater. That was really fun. I had a good time with that. It wasn't a big moment, but that was fun. Hi, buddy.
I remember- I'd
what
almost
grade?
forgotten that Sirius tried to turn into a vampire and she bit him, and then like there was this giant
Yeah.
explosion.
Yeah,
That was fun.
that was. I remember spending my whole week prepping for that. I'm like, okay, we left off with her. How can I try to separate myself and this Bella NPC away from everybody? Because I know they're all going to try to stop him. Yeah.
That's right. You tried to like walk away. Yeah, that was good.
And since Alex is here, James, you had a question about the vision, didn't you?
I did. So Gorza in the after she kills Gawk, she has this like vision of her death,
Mhm.
or supposedly that's what it was, right? And it was Sirius as the Sunderer, like stepping over her, and being like, "You're dead now."
It was your reign as chieftain has ended,
Right.
Stab.
or something like that. It was something like something chieftain. Like I forget the exact wording.
But obviously that wasn't like the true future. It was like a possible future.
What the I think Harlan has called them the lover goddesses.
I misread
of-
that situation entirely. I thought they
Yeah,
were
no,
dating. They're just friends, apparently.
they're just two halves of the natural world, which is Sylvanas and Meliki. They showed Gorza what she needed to see, and that's what they told her.
Like, what was at stake?
They showed her what she needed to see. I mean,
As
on
vague
the
as that
sleeve,
is, yeah.
Matrix. All right, that's all that is. It's Matrix.
Yeah. It's
So, when that scene happened, I was furiously writing notes because in my back corner, at all times, even up to the finale, I had my character raised. Like, if he's offered something that would twist fate in that direction, what would happen if I were to try to move him into that vision? Like, you actually had to fight him, I guess. And
probably fun.
I tried to keep notes on like his frustrations and his struggles that he can't break down because he didn't really like grow up to adulthood like he probably should have. He was kind of like forced into this really quickly. So he's very emotionally drawn, very much kind of like how Anakin was. So I kept having these things in the back of my mind. I'm like, okay,
It's all Star Wars.
if something happens in this finale that could put him in that direction, I would be comfortable in putting there.
That is one of the things I respect greatly about you as a player is your commitment to the story and not a commitment to winning, if that makes sense. Your commitment to your character and playing the role in the role-playing game is I don't want to toot your horn too hard and say inspirational, but I appreciate that very much about having you at the table, and multiple of you in that same way, that you care about playing the game more than winning the game.
I can blame you two for that.
Yay, we corrupted everyone.
I want to piggyback on that compliment because it's also something that I admired about how you played the game, and it's something that I want to try and do more of in campaign 2 now that I've like played a character and I'm, you know, once I'm going to be building my campaign 2 character, I want to make more like personality and character decisions early on, like what this person's morals and ethics are, so that I can make more of those informed and less on. I think I fell into that thing, Harlan, of like, what would help our team do better.
It happens. Can't get around it.
And like to speak to Harlan, I know you said like almost every time someone was in like not making a decision, Harlan would just be like, "What would Gorza do?"
It helped a lot.
Instead of you like metagaming, it was just like, "What would Gorza do?
Yes.
What would Kina do?"
It's important. I mean, when analysis paralysis hits, you gotta think like, all right, character time.
And those moments were helpful.
How do they get out?
Yeah.
So thank you for asking that question.
I'm gonna need like a 2-minute break to hit the restroom real quick. If people want to like take dogs out or get water, but oh my god, I've got to blow up. I'll be right back.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
We'll see you in a bit. Don't worry about it. He's going down soon, right? You're gonna put him down soon-ish. Okay.
Yeah, you two did such a wonderful job with this whole campaign, and like we were just talking about, it's like I'm constantly grateful for, you know, the situations that you put me as a player in, to really try to create a character that I would have fun going into. And that doesn't necessarily represent, you know, me in any kind of a sense, but every night I played, I had a clear understanding of who he was. And I couldn't have done that by myself. I was struggling for the first like 2 weeks.
Well, that was like, Harlan came to me. I'm gonna say this when he's not here. He came to me. He's like, "Don't you worry about Kyle's character. I'll wrangle him." I was like, "Okay, cool. Whatever you got planned, let's do it." And then
I insulted him making this
like,
joke of a character.
"I want to play his dad." I was like, "Great," and I want to do this, and I want to betray him. I was like, "I'm down. Let's do this shit. I will tell you when."
I love it.
It was all like, that was entirely Harlan, because he recognized that you just wanted to play a joke. You showed up with a joke character with no nose and a pompadour and bat wings. And he's like, let's tear open this character.
And it worked. I mean, even in my drawing too, it's like so vastly different from like how I first sat down and thought of him.
Yeah, he's like cartoonish in the first one, and then the second, and then the like more final one, he's just like grizzled and like stern
More
looking,
grim looking.
Yeah,
which is how I felt he actually is now.
Yeah,
it was a very fun, very unique experience.
It was great. So Alex, we've been shooting the shit about a lot of stuff, but like some people aren't here. But what was your favorite like arc of
Like
the
memorable
campaign?
moments,
or like some people have said like the whole Calderock / Venom Fang thing. Well, I said that.
James
Harlan
brought
said-
up the Venom Fang as a villain being.
Oh yeah, so good. I think that whole sequence is probably really up there for me because I think that's one of the moments that I remember crystallizing this as like, oh, this is the thing I care about. Like more so than other things. Where when Karth died, we all kind of looked at each other like,
Yeah,
oh shit.
that's true.
Like,
that
this
was our
happened,
first
and
player
I
death experience.
feel a way about it. And like, this is a completely made up character in a completely made up world, and we're just like, some of the times we're goofing, but
I remember specifically.
like the table went silent.
No, this table went silent, and then after about 3 or 4 seconds, I said, "All right, Kina, you're up." And Sam goes, "What? Like how? I can't.
Like, how am I supposed to? Well, and I think the next week, Harlan, you like
I was
had a
away.
week off basically. You were away, and so you like left a picture of your character on the table with little tea lights. And I think Sam and I made eye contact, and I think we both teared up a little bit. We're like,
I cried both when Karth, like when like the fire, or no, the poison, when the poison hit Karth, I was crying, and then the next week as well, like I was a couple tears, super holding back, and like Spencer, when you were like, Kina, you're up, that was me like trying to not cry, you know, like when you try to talk, and then it's like, so what?
also like the Karth moment, but also to finish answering your question, Spencer, the like journey into the spirit realm. That kind of
leave it.
Charlie.
I put lotion on my feet, just trying to lick my toes. Sorry.
That's
How
fair.
dare you?
It's delicious.
I got websites for that.
That was just a really like a good connecting moment for me connecting like to Gorza and I don't know, solidifying her character a little bit.
Meeting the
Gorza's so
ancestors and
much.
like defeating the hag and
Yeah,
that was really cool.
That was a thing. I enjoyed that very much.
Ooh, when was the night that we that you got Thunderstruck as your theme song? Because whatever night that was amazing. The first time that happened.
that was Harlan.
Was it
That
the
was a
Red
Galleon
Galleon
night.
The second Galleon night?
Yeah, that was after we fought old buckets and the crustaceans.
Yeah. And that was just like, oh.
I put everything I could into that to make it ambient as fuck. And I'm so
that was
happy
fun.
it paid off.
And it kicked so much ass. And
So
now
yeah,
that
it was
song
great.
brings me joy every time I hear it or think about it. Like forever.
I'll never be able to watch Iron Man 1 again.
Yeah.
Hi, sweetheart.
Oh, look at him.
Well,
I think I go to bed soon, Bubba's.
I'm so happy with the Gorza everything.
I'm really happy with who she turned into.
I couldn't be
Yeah.
happier. The Caldrax
so I have a
stuff.
question. Oh, sorry.
No, go
Okay.
ahead. I had nothing.
Depending on how long it might take to answer, I might have to run away because it's good.
Totally fine. When did Gorza stop using magic? When did that happen?
That happened at the like level 12 like
Got it. Okay.
12 or 11.
Okay. Because I know
so
you dual class.
Yeah, I multi-classed, and then as we were heading towards endgame, it became clear that that just like wasn't balanced quite right for what we were wanting to do, and I wasn't really using magic all that much anyway. So
You're like, magic's cool, but look at this.
Yeah, that's basically what I spent most of my time doing anyway. Was I hit it with the sword.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Harlan and I worked together to figure out a story way for me to like, kind of set aside druidness and taking her power from the land and how she kind of got started and be like, no, this
makes
is what
sense.
I'm doing now. Yeah.
Yeah, because I couldn't remember where that switched.
It was.
But that makes sense.
They're doing like a
Totally makes
training
sense.
fighting with the four of them. And then after one of the sessions,
yeah,
Gorza went into a tree and so did Sirius. And then Sirius got pooped out. And then Gorza was still behind. And
Yeah, I played, I think I played the
fighting
hag
friends.
as one of the...
The Addis hag.
Yeah. That was really fun to play. It was very fun to play.
I'm gonna run away for a little bit and put him down, and then I'll be back.
Yeah,
Okay.
sounds good. I got more to say about that tree situation with all the programmed clones of her friends that she had to fight. I'll say it again when she gets back, but that was a strained metaphor for her her concern that she may have to kill Sirius at some point, and I wanted to push that mental strain a little bit harder. And that led into one of the quotes I put at the very end with the future Karth. Goodbye, Andrew. That's not what he said. You're willing to kill one friend, kill another one. It's like, oh, hi, Andrew. Hello, don't listen to what I'm saying. It's horrible.
I promise I'm paying attention.
No, it's fine. He's so cute.
I'm not.
Nah, it's fine. Just a narrative through line of, like, if you're ready to kill your friend, like, prove it. Was basically what that was.
And Sirius is ready to fight all y'all before that tree was probably the first stepping stone, actually.
Yeah. Karth would have backed you no matter what.
Hey.
That would have been a really,
Yes, you're very cute.
really tough choice.
Yeah. Karth is loyal to very few people. He had his friend who died like way back when during his backstory,
I remember
and
that one. And
so
you saw his spirit.
yeah, multiple times. I can talk about the Karth bullshit later, but I think at a certain point, Karth saw himself as his friend in terms of the relationship with Sirius. Like, Sirius is Karth, and Karth is his dead friend. So it's like, I gotta help, like, him, because he is struggling. And that's what Sirius needs right now, is support. So,
Still one of my favorite moments when Karth was trying to like calm down Sirius. And then I started overlaying that with the voice of the second flame.
so
Yeah.
And everyone was like,
Yeah.
we didn't plan that at
Yeah.
all. You just
It was
jumped
so
in and I
good.
just fucking didn't skip a beat. I ran out of, like, hippie shit to say. I just... I love that so much. We're good at our job.
we're so good. Why don't we get paid?
Yeah.
We should. You guys should pay us.
Should
Money,
definitely
please.
No, you guys pay us.
record or stream the future ones.
Yep.
Talk about it.
Do us something. That'd be fun.
We should do
Be
a
really
something.
cool.
Record would be
That'd be
fun.
cool
Nobody
for
wants
it.
to. Yeah, nobody wants to watch our stream.
We should at least record. Put it up on YouTube. Campaign 2,
Or like
when we start figuring that shit out, someone will record it. And
Yeah.
still so much
YouTube,
work.
podcast, something.
Do a podcast. No one wants to look at this.
I don't know what to look at.
No, we have too many battle maps. We're gonna need to have a
It,
fucking video.
it would be easier to do as audio only, anyways.
Mm-hmm.
True. All right, I move this way. It's like, this is a podcast. You can't see anything.
Well, we're pretty good about saying, like, moving 15 feet forward, or 15 feet, or 20 feet, or whatever.
Yeah, we could do it.
Uh,
I trust us.
Yeah. I think it'd be fun.
Listen to the C team a lot these last like few weeks, and I know that the podcast I'm listening to have a visual aspect to it, and it does not detract at all.
You don't miss much.
Because just like with us, like I'm sure if we were to look back at our previous sessions, especially the more recent ones, we're not sitting there trying to calculate our space. Kind of like, can I hit this? Like if I move over here, I get over here, and I hit these guys. Can I get these guys? Okay, this is what happens. Roll dice, damage. And that's exactly how I'm hearing it, and it's enough for me to see it. So I think a full audio would be great.
We may need to just do that anyway to make it viable for however Spencer and I are going to set up the framework
Yeah.
for campaign 2. But that's a conversation we can have in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. Harlan and I, we need to do a lot of hashing out of stuff, and we need to have a discussion as
We got to
a
throw
group.
everything out. All of our
Everything?
work,
Tackle that
garbage,
later.
all of our
I have a
garbage in
whole
the group.
map.
No, Juniper's done. We're going to Tuniper. Number 2.
Bizarro.
Yeah, Bizarro Juniper. Bahuniper.
Zaro Juniper.
Ah,
The upside Juniper. Upside down Juniper.
James,
Going
please.
back to campaign 1 talk.
help.
One thing that I thought was very fun was that we had a lot of our characters evolved quite a bit. Not just in terms of like you level up and you get more spells, but like you acquire physical deformities or new items or new equipment, and it's like,
Leeches.
yeah, wings, um,
Lose an arm, aged
Yeah.
20 years.
covered in scars. Like
Mhm.
what our characters look like at the start are absolutely nothing. Karth changed race, between
it's
what we
fine.
looked like at the
I mean,
end.
he's a goop. Well, I mean,
He's a flesh golem. He's a blood golem,
Yeah,
technically.
he's a blood golem.
Yeah.
Well, how you presented outwardly changed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some people just, they find themselves when they grow up.
So
But-
your question?
Operation. Oh, that wasn't
Or
a
is
question.
that-
It was just a good observation. It was like
Oh,
that.
Well, I could talk about that for an hour. But
Yeah,
the
that
first
was
one
that was
showed
really
up.
good. And like keeps us like invested, and like it's very cool to look back at your character and see like, oh, it's just like Kyle's art. Like, oh, I know why that is there and why that is there, and
Episode
Well-
4, lost your beard, scarred like Deadpool, and you just ran with it. And it was like, no, I don't want to fix it. This is great. And then that
Yeah.
set precedent. It's like, fuck, we can do whatever we want now.
yeah. Well, yeah,
Uh,
I know that like you could have magically healed Brodo's skin, but I was like, I don't want to. I kind of think it's cooler this way. So that's why I chose to just keep it.
That's something that Harlan and I like leaned into, was that you can take like damage in a battle and then walk away and like nothing happens, but doing different things with like permanent like deformities or like consequences is a lot more interesting than you took some damage this one time but you're fine now. There was
Yeah.
one point where when Sirius was falling out of the sky and Briscoe tried to rip off his wings, I was so close to ripping off those. He was so sorry. I wasn't. Briscoe was so close to ripping off the wings, and I don't know what you would have fucking done if he did it.
Yeah.
And more so if he got away. Even though I know ultimately he got away a third time,
Three's a small number.
transporting him the millisecond right over the statue's arms was so fun.
Oh,
That's right. No, that was good.
Mhm.
I think we were ready to catch you. If I remember from that scene, I think Brodo was under you with Featherfall.
yeah,
Yeah,
had
you
prep.
cast
He-
Featherfall.
Yeah, so I
But-
think you would have lived.
And I remember that being a really fun RP moment for me, because I'm kind of like, even though Kyle knows that Briscoe teleported away and is free, Sirius does not know that. Therefore, he feels like his life's mission's over. So he's like, he just lets it happen. If he's gonna fall to his death, so be it. Everybody's gonna like, oh wait.
That's right. That's hilarious.
Motherfucker had
I remember you
wings.
were just like,
Yeah, he thought it was complete and it was done.
yeah, we should have let you think that.
Could have turned into a bird, I guess, but whatever. You were
I
probably
no,
out.
he was out of wild shapes at that point. Otherwise, he would have
makes
transformed into
sense,
something smaller to get out of that grapple.
That makes sense. He does love grappling you. Glad we
He
could
did.
bring that back for the final fight.
Yeah, that was a recurring Briscoe theme. It teleport.
I appreciated it.
I don't know what exactly what we were drawing that inspiration from, but like a lot of action movies, like the bad guy's got you in his grips and he is like punching you and you're plummeting somewhere, or I guess Iron Man, you're flying or whatever. But
I think it's kind of a funny idea where it's kind of like, like when somebody like turns bad, it's like, what happened to you? Did Dad never hug you enough? It's like the opposite happened.
Too
He gets hugged by his dad too much.
we
That's
could also
fair.
talk about the Briscoe stuff for an hour, but
Sirius is really kind of like Luke Skywalker.
he's a little bit of everything. There was the
He could have been Anakin.
mostly.
I think he's more akin to Anakin.
Luke
if
has the
anything.
evil
He
dad.
had a real bad streak.
You're like teen Anakin, like before he does
Yeah.
the whole Vader turn at the end of
Yeah.
the second, third movie,
Yeah.
That's
where he's just like a prick.
because Anakin was the chosen one, like Sirius.
Maybe Sirius was born into it.
It's a
The answer is
tiefling
yes.
thing, as James would say.
He's what?
Maybe it's just a tiefling thing, as James would say.
It's offensive.
I mean,
but
Whatever that means.
red
Can't just
tieflings.
say
Red
that.
tieflings.
That doesn't make it any better.
I love
Also
the idea.
want to.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry.
No, go. I was gonna say
Go
some
for it,
dumb
Sam.
shit. Go.
Um, I really appreciate that Soup lived the whole time,
Yeah.
and Soup is on my short list of favorite NPCs.
He was a ghost at one point,
Yeah,
That was fun.
and he was dead.
That was
he
weird.
was, and that was another time I cried. I had a good cry about Soup dying.
Still got that mini. I gotta bronze that thing.
Thank you
Yeah.
for not coriander in our soup.
Yes, but I just thought it was really cool that Soup made it all the way through,
True.
and that we stayed as the Soup Troop. We didn't rename ourselves. I love that we stayed the Soup Troop.
Expired
Soup,
soup.
was
Troop.
he just chilling at
Huh?
the? Was Soup just chilling at the temple at the end?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay, that's what I
With
thought.
We
Sergeant.
knew this was no place for a horse.
Assuming the temple is okay after the second sundering, but we'll see.
I suppose. Yeah.
We'll see.
It's kind of one.
We won.
I did.
Yeah, you won. God.
Continent's a little messed up, but we did.
I don't think that was avoidable.
A little off the top.
Well, I think
Yeah.
if there was some way to quicken the killing of the
Oh god. Yeah.
like, then we could have saved the
Oh, yeah,
continent. But I don't.
That was like turn 2,
It
though.
would have been. Well, I think we would have had to go through the portal sooner in order to. Like, I think would have to done everything quicker in order to stop the shift. But
Yeah.
it makes for interesting history. Yeah. or-
You guys got like the medium ending.
Yeah. Nobody died.
We
which was
tried.
Surprising.
Sort of.
You
Yeah.
almost got it.
I mean, you guys died.
Well, that we know of. I guess
Yeah, that's true.
Karth and Syrians are kind of up in the air.
Yeah, I fucking
I-
loved the double vignettes we had to do.
I
Spencer
totally
was like,
fucking
"And
forgot that
die."
was a thing. So, and then you said it. I was like, oh shit, that's what Karth made a deal like that too.
I'm very happy with that deal. That is exactly what I wanted out of that character. Tried to get out of the life, but God pulled him back in.
Yep.
And I feel like you just kind of yes-anded me on this theory I had that the Raven Queen wasn't like an aspect of a higher god. Like she was like full on there because she could do weird shit that the others couldn't do, like
Yep.
reincarnate somebody.
That was just the Raven Queen. Everyone else was an aspect of a god. That was just the Raven Queen. I will confirm that.
That's great.
Like a subroutine of a god,
And that-
just like on autopilot.
Well, she even said, she's like, I have a connection to this, through this shard, to this plane, to the material world, prime material, that I do not want to be there. Destroy it. Everyone else is just like,
Big
I'm
words.
quirky Timora, whatever. I guess I'm Timora until you destroy my being, and then I'm
Timorish.
dead.
It's like a journal of a teen, and then like a
Yeah.
45-year-old woman picks up and he's like, ugh. That's the shards. It's an old journal from an old god.
What Karth did with the Raven Queen was like, why did Karth get taken away?
So when Karth
I don't think I was
took his
there for that
life
fight.
to reacquire the shard of necromancy from his archenemy Cruel at Velkvelv, which is Elven for the hidden sword, because I'm a
Uh-huh.
hack. I know that. He had to strike a deal to come back to life because, like, getting deeper in the fucking lore, his whole society was abusing the concept of reincarnation so that they could
Right.
teach people skills like magic, martial arts, whatever in the afterlife and bring them back. It was a big part of their culture. But the body and the soul can only take so much of that, and he was over his quota pretty much. So he had to strike a deal with the Raven Queen that was like, send me back. I need to get this job done. I need to get these shards together and do whatever the fuck we're doing. You get me back there right now. I'll do whatever you need, whatever you want.
Got it. Okay.
Okay.
So
And-
now you basically work for the Raven.
She admitted that Karth will be her agent through the planes to extract her price when people
Oh, I remember
when
this.
people try to cheat her.
Yes.
Basically, Karth became the Grim fucking Reaper.
Pretty
Or Karth the bounty hunter.
Yeah, like a bounty hunter.
the grim
Yeah,
bounty hunter.
he's a
yeah.
bounty hunter for death.
Yeah, so he has to go
Yeah.
do that.
Repo.
And
The Repo Man.
what was I gonna say?
Yes.
That's why he's made of the old blood.
Ooh,
Crypt
Karth's
Keeper.
new theme song can be, well, I guess Don't Fear the Reaper doesn't work. Do Fear the Reaper. Never mind.
I like Karth Crypt Keeper.
It's a bone chilling adventure.
It's got some
Oh.
alliteration.
There's a lot going on with that boy. Put too much time and effort into Karth. But apparently, there is, in whatever canon they establish for Dungeons and Dragons, like in their like little here's our map, there's a city that is almost word for word Velkvelv. Because I just threw a bunch of words into a translator and that's what popped out. So there's 2 Velkvelvs, I guess, in the world. So go to the Sword Coast.
It's like Springfield,
Is there
you
one
know?
in,
Yeah, it's Springfield.
There's like a dozen of them.
It is called the Hidden Blade. Like, that's not.
Yeah, no, I said I was a hack. You don't have to rub it in.
Be Path Keeper, the Crypt Keeper.
Ah, yes. I am Timothy Keeper. Wish that was an original character. I ripped that off 100% from the podcast, but
So funny.
so is Callaway, so whatever. But
I'm just glad y'all don't play WoW because 80% of the shit I came up with was from WoW. So
so many things as I started paying attention to Jacob.
no.
There were so many times I was like, wait, that looks like, oh no, this is why Spencer told me not to ever pay attention to WoW.
Huh.
You'd be flying to, oh, that looks like our guy.
that looks like our guy. Like, oh, Sylvanas, I know that name.
It was so fun though. It was so cool to like see the video game and be like,
There's a
there
lot
was
going
something
on.
outside.
Somebody keeps stealing all of Spencer's ideas and put them into WoW.
Yeah,
gonna
those
say.
jerks. There were like, I don't know how many times Harlan and I would have an idea, be like a week out from executing it, and then the C team would do it. We were so mad.
So mad.
That's funny.
And, like, we have to keep pushing stuff, and they don't have to push stuff ever. And it's like, damn it. Oh, this guy's got a god inside of him. It's like, fuck. It's cool.
Well, and it's funny because speaking of C team ideas, you know, Spencer, you got to have an idea from Jerry, right?
The inverted spire.
Oh, I told you that was the
was
not the inverted spire. It was the
no.
high mine.
Yeah, the high.
Yeah, he built. Yeah, like he's like, where are they at right now? I was like, oh, they're in this vault, and like this. He's like, oh, dwarves, perfect. Dwarves are fucking weird. Let's do this. Put them in a trial. I was like, okay, this sounds cool.
That's great.
And then like send them like have just like one weird thing they can't parse, and that's the high mine. Yeah, that was really rad to do that with him.
That was rad.
Yeah,
So
there was
Actually
actually.
becoming jealous that you got to have that interaction with him.
I am so lucky. He hasn't done it since, which
Mhm.
makes me really sad because that either means that he didn't enjoy it with me and it wasn't worth his time, or he just probably doesn't have the time. It's probably more that.
I'm
But
gonna say that.
I would say it's definitely the second one. I mean, this they just become more busy every year. Sure.
Oh my god,
but I will spoil something that there was another thing that he did tell me to do with the shard that you never actually did do.
yeah. Eat it.
And this was the deal that you made with Mask,
Right.
but you just never did it,
Right. Yeah.
which was to return him to his followers. And he like was like, what Mask is like chaotic neutral. Those fuckers can do anything. So let's get him in the hands of these followers and see what happens. I was like, yeah, that sounds rad, but you just never. He was like, yeah, I'll just.
There was other stuff going on.
Because Brodo had received some like warnings that like Mask is bad, you know, he's the reason he's gone, and so Brodo basically decided to just sort of not do it and see if anything bad happened.
Play it safe.
Yeah, because I know that his followers were
Just
in
not
Durotar.
do it and see what
Just not
happens.
gonna do it. Because his followers were in Durotar, but we never like I don't think we ever came across them, and I never
No.
sought them out, so I don't know where they were. And I was just kind of like, I'm just gonna not do this and then see if there's a negative consequence to it. Because I figured I don't think Mask has much on me right now, so.
I mean, the aspect of Mask is dead,
Yeah,
so
right. Well, now it's probably fine.
it's super dead.
Yeah.
Anyways,
He-
that was that.
Brodo agreed
When
to it
Brodo
to save
had
his life.
battle for who was in his mind? Like over there were two gods in your mind at one point, right?
Oh
Or two
gosh,
voices?
you've had a lot
Are
of
you
shit in your
thinking of
mind.
Burn in the skeleton campaign?
No,
Okay.
no, I don't think so.
Brodo
Wasn't
had a
it
bunch of
Brodo
shit going on.
Yeah, there was like
Sort of
a
battle.
Brodo was stuck in
Not
like
battle per
a
se, but
you went he like he was with us in the party, but like his mind took him somewhere else, and he was in like a parlor kind of room
that was playwright
with
stuff.
with
Yeah,
the playwright,
Flute knife.
and then
plagiarist. Sorry.
there was like another one too that maybe had like there was something going back and forth between you and the playwright, and then maybe somebody else. Although it could have just been you and the playwright, I'm not sure. But there was a whole thing where like Brodo was taken out and
Yeah.
set into a room with one or two, and then that whole thing.
That happened twice. The first time
It
was
did
when he
happen twice.
strummed the lute for the first time and began that harmonic resonance with the playwright to get a
Yeah.
connection established. Second time was when you guys were in the decrepit temple of the playwright with all those busted mirrors and the low-hanging fog and
Oh,
the
that was
evil
so
panther,
cool.
and then he was whisked away somewhere for another discussion and kind of like finalize that relationship a little bit harder.
Yes. I think I'm talking about that, but
Yeah.
that whole thing with the mirrors and
That was fun.
that was amazing.
That was good.
It was going, so I'll spoil it now because this is what this is for. That encounter was penciled to be a sort of look at these dark reflections of yourself, like other paths you could have gone down. Like if Sirius looked at one of them, it was going to be like, oh, he's with his father, just like torching something
He's
and
like shooting
smiling.
flame out of an obsidian staff.
Yeah, hand on his
I remember that
shoulder, just like,
That was
ha ha, and you're both happy. Brodo got a little bit of that with like preaching the good word of the playwright. Gorza would have had some fun stuff with Mar out in the ocean, just like very content. And
He was the
Bliss
wedding
would have
dress?
been just been like a hellraiser, busting heads all day kind of shit. And there's some other penciled stuff. It was like alternate what ifs and some encounters maybe for fun, but you guys bypassed that pretty quickly with a bunch of shatters and whatnot.
We did see some of them.
There's some.
But yeah.
Some. Not everything I
I
had
think he
penciled
was
down. A
a
lot of
wedding
people stayed
dress.
at the entrance, just kind of waiting.
I was
Gina,
worried that it would be like a, you're enchanted by the mirror and you get sucked in and you die kind of thing.
That's what we thought.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Like there are
we didn't wanna-
skeletons in front of these mirrors.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They starve to death looking at their own reflection. Don't look.
Kind of.
We like cast a fog cloud or something.
There was a fog cloud from Sirius, you're correct. That was
Yeah.
a little hanging fog.
We couldn't see it.
So
Yeah.
you all know that the whole playwright, aka the plagiarist thing, was that they came from somewhere else to Juniper, to the prime material plane, and began a following. But how they mass power is by stealing potential from their followers. So like their place in history, memories, like that sort of stuff. They steal. They steal like time from you and memory from you. They steal your place in the world to make their own story and bolster it. And so the whole thing with the skeletons was that, well, these people like gave in 100% to the deal, and they were watching that fulfillment of what their story could have been, not even what it would have been, but what it could have been in the mirrors, and they were fully content in just living out that fantasy for the rest of their life. And that's what the skeletons were. They died there.
Got it.
Yeah.
So that's cool. So when we saw
That's cool.
like atrocities committed with the playwright symbol when we were in, I think, Old Drogmore, was that like other followers who were like being violent, or like what was that?
Yeah, those were people that the playwright found. The playwright was starting to take power from you and like spread their word out because you were the first new apostle. The playwright had been dead for a long, long time, since Turing's time. And by stealing some of your potential history and future, they were able to kind of seep out to other people who found your work that spoke of the playwright. They took that as sort of their feverish, this is our evil Bible, let's fucking go. And then they started sacrificing potential lives in the name of the playwright. So they did it in the decrepit ghetto, basically,
Right.
of
Yeah.
Drodmor. And it was a whole, like, this is a murder cult, kind of. Oops, maybe you should think about leaving. And that was the first inception of that.
Right. Yes, that makes sense. Yeah, I was kind of just like, that's a little ominous, but whatever. At the time.
Doesn't affect
Yeah.
you.
Well,
It was
yeah.
a lot of little
Well, it did
ominous.
affect me, but
Yeah. It was overtly ominous, I think would be the
Yeah.
phrase, but it didn't affect you, so it's fine. You guys fought a big lizard, and that was cool.
Ooh, that's right.
Yeah.
That was very cool.
Kyle bought me a
I have
little
a question.
booster box. I just cracked it open.
Yeah.
Lizard.
I'm like, whatever's in here, use it tonight. And you're like, okay.
One T. They have a giant fucking gecko. Go.
The gecko was pretty sweet.
That's a good gecko. Sorry, Sam.
I mean, it was a replica box.
Oh, the screenshot I just posted in
Right?
chat is something from my notes I was just crawling through, and it's just like randomly on a line. So there you go.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
Gauntlet was-
fantastic.
It's pretty
love
awesome.
The gauntlet. We had no idea for the gauntlet. Kyle brought that up, and we're like, all right, you have to destroy this. You have to get this shit. You have to build a
It's
space
cool.
for little Billy to make it. And you guys did everything in your fucking power
Yep.
to make sure that Sirius rolled the best he could on that lever pull.
Yeah.
And then you let the
On
NPC
that
pull the
lever
other one,
pull.
and he flubbed it, and then it fucked. People got hurt. It was wonderful.
Right.
So happy.
So
about
did
it.
that? I guess that would be my question. Did that mechanically change the gauntlet on the NPC's flood?
It caused the explosion that severely damaged the room, NPCs, some PCs, and honestly your relationship with the Noble Rod a little bit.
And one of the two hammers.
Yeah.
Probably
Also,
most
you lost a
important
hammer.
part.
Yeah. So you
Yeah.
couldn't
Yeah.
do high level shit like this again.
It would have been nice to have that.
Yeah. Or like an Omni Forge was no longer an option. You got one,
There
but
would
that's
have
not
been-
enough.
There would have been more crazy shit. I've got some old drawings of like, what if I fuse these together next?
Jesus Christ.
Then the hammer broke.
You can try,
Didn't
but
we
like
we
eventually
tried to
it'll flood.
forge another thing, like a new hand or something, and it was like, no, you don't have your hammer.
No workspace, no hammer, like yeah. He had like a proper workspace, now he's in like a tool shed, so you get what you get. But that was really fun. Didn't expect you guys to go to the Noble Rot or Format at all for that session, so I was like, alright, fucking wing it. Here's a gnome. They're hanging out.
Yeah.
To use the advantage on levers that was given to me at such a young age.
And you used it. It's a shame Billy didn't have that.
It's a real shame.
I love Billy so much.
Yeah, Billy's great.
Oh, that's a good
So
everything.
Big Bill.
It's like, okay, I guess, but like, don't please.
It's like, oh yeah, I
Kinda
guess
just
I'm here
dragged
now.
him
Well,
along.
this is fucking terrifying. Hey, alright, let's fucking
Yeah.
party.
It's like nobody can get the accent the same way that Sam actually presented the character originally.
Oh, that's fine.
He,
No one can do a Scottish
problem.
accent.
I
Sam.
wish I could do a Scottish accent. Oh yeah, I can't do Scottish. That's what I just did Canadian again. Trying to do Scottish. Fuck.
You've got
It's either
Canadian.
Canadian, leprechaun, you know.
Rat. I can do
Oh,
rat and
okay.
Canadian.
What are you talking
Not
about?
even
And,
talking,
and
it's
you
just
can
rat.
do Brooklyn guy from the 30s.
No, that's the rat. Yeah, I can do rat
that's
and
the rat.
Canadian.
Oh,
That's how rats talk.
and nightmarish, high-pitched, creepy balloon voice.
Yeah.
Ooh, actually, no. I got another NPC that was
Is it-
that Harlan did that was pretty fun. That had a French accent.
Lord Talic!
Lord Talic.
Oh,
Yes!
hopefully
Oh.
Lord Tadek can
Tadek.
come back sometime to
Oh,
hang
I
out
hope
and
so.
celebrate. Yeah.
Yes, Lord Talic was great.
Oh, Lord Talic is amazing.
Oh. You look at me with your eyeballs. It is rude not to
Okay.
talk to somebody without looking at them.
Fight,
Yeah,
prop
you had to
comedy
hold
works.
skull.
Look at me! Kitty tail!
Oh god.
Hello,
Aw.
Cattail.
Oh.
Island, you want to say hello?
That's
I
right. Talik was a wonderful NPC.
Ow!
Forgot about Lord Talic.
He
You
just
were
bite
giving
you?
dinner.
Maybe he'll come back.
Kind of. Love Nip. She's
Aw.
a perfect angel. She doesn't bite.
I threw. I actually used Talik as an NPC for my brother's one-off that I made him.
Lord Talic was the skull, right?
Yeah.
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 No, let her
And-
pull it off.
Mwah.
French
They-
girl that didn't speak French.
We.
At the end of the story, Talik sees a skeleton playing an organ or a headless skeleton playing an organ next to a skeleton head on a pedestal, and that was like his brother, and that was like the big twist.
Fuck, I love it.
That's great.
Oh.
I wonder what he's up to now.
He was given to us by Aking.
Yes, he was your
Oh,
Yeah, so
right.
he could
liaison.
show up
Oh,
again.
so there is
Liaison.
potential for him to come
Or
back.
hood ornament.
Yeah.
Oh,
He was like a veteran of Aking who was like there to guide us because we were new.
Yeah, he was the
Yeah.
handler.
Yeah.
I was very
Oh, I
pleased.
kind of want him back.
Oh, he'll come
Yeah,
back
I
one
would-
day, maybe.
yeah.
Hopefully, if he's not
I hope
dead
so.
again. We'll see. I was very happy with that Cloud Giant
Oh,
Nanny story that you guys did. That was the first time I tried
Yeah.
running off a module, like a pre-written thing. So I was just scouring that thing for like 2 weeks,
Yeah.
getting it back and forth, and that was fun. Like it's like a not really an escape room, but like a choose your own adventure kind of style. It's like you're in this room, there's A, B, C, D, and E, and you just everyone had a ball with it, and you guys latched onto it very easily. It was
Yeah.
good fun. All right,
It
Alex.
established. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Nah,
It
ahead.
established Ack as a whole thing, and
yes. And it got Karth revived.
got Karth revived.
Wow.
It established that Ack did a hostile takeover of the Paper Sword. Now that the
Right.
incursion, yeah, she's got the thing.
Yeah.
Get that.
Now that
It's
the
just
incursion
waiting.
from the first flame has been dealt with, which is why the Paper Sword is acting so weird around you guys in season 1 and 2.
Yeah.
So basically, it's gonna go full circle. Paper Sword's coming back as Ack.
Sort of.
But
Kind of. Yeah.
Alex, now that you're here to party in this hoedown,
yes.
is there any questions or curiosities that you can think of off the top of your head regarding the campaign that you want people to delve into? It could be story-wise, character-wise, inspiration, or just fun questions you want to ask people, or we can throw a couple at you.
Guess I've been wanting to ask both you and Spencer, is there anything that you wish we had done or wish we had done differently?
Not
The
really.
short answer for me is no. The longer answer is you all did very unexpected things all of the time.
Take pride in that.
Yeah. Is there anything that you wish we had explored that we kind of skipped past through one of our, I don't know.
I think the only thing would be
Interesting choices.
stuff we probably had to cut for time during nights
Mm.
where like roleplay ran long or
Sure.
people were planning too much and we had to cut stuff out. I've probably cut more combats than I've ran for you guys, but other than that, I mean, I had this whole cool, like, you're climbing the mountain, Mount Vesuvius, and you have to go through this big carved, like, passageway of just pure ice. And then there was these holes on all sides of the walls, and then there's, like, creatures coming at you, and you have to, like, either run through them or fight, and... But we didn't have time because people were making out for, like, 2 hours, but that's fine.
Because they were marriage proposals.
Yeah, there's, like, rings and flowers and
You
whatnot.
get to
and-
know that, you know?
Yeah.
and plotting for things that it was like, oh, we have to get our armies to the top of the mountain. It's like, motherfucker, you're going to another dimension. Like, you're just wasting your time.
We had no way to know that.
yeah, no
Yeah,
way to know.
they
Yeah,
had
no way to know.
no way to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very steadfast it was going to be inside a volcano, which makes sense. But
Yeah.
how could you know?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
There were, I guess, like, thinking to the quests on the board, there were a
Mm.
few quests that y'all didn't do that I was kind of surprised you didn't do.
The fish sale. We never got to explore the fish sale.
You
We
never
never
have.
went back.
Man,
Right, the fish sale.
All
Yeah.
fish
We never
died
went back for the
in
fish
the Second
sale.
Sundering. All fish are extinct.
what was it?
Oh, fish are
I
extinct.
have to know.
1 second. Sorry, I'm pulling up the bounty board. What the fuck is this?
I loved the bounty board when that was a thing.
That was
Yeah.
good.
That
a
was
good mechanic.
wonderful. That was just like
Really cool.
a thing that you created that I very much enjoyed.
What was the physical thing we got to look at every time we came back?
Well, it was, and like there were new things on it. It was,
Yeah.
Blue's Clues, you got mail, but better. It was delightful.
For some
While
reason,
while Spencer's
It can come
Well,
back.
while Spencer's pulling that up, I would apologize that bedtime had taken so long, but I'm going to tell you about it instead because it was probably the cutest thing that's happened in a while.
Please tell me.
So I was putting him to bed, and normally I hold him in my arms / on my lap while I'm singing him his lullaby, and then I lay him in his crib and let him wiggle it out until he like finds his spot, which takes anywhere from a couple minutes to many minutes. And it took not that many minutes till I thought he was asleep, and then I kind of continue shing as I walk out the door. And I made it to the door, and I heard him stir, and he was up on the edge of his crib. I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I went back, and he just kind of had his head, like he was tired, I could tell, because he had his head on the rim of the thing. And so I just kind of like rubbed the back of his head and gave him a kiss, and he laid himself back down, but as he was getting back down slowly because he was tired, he like held on to my hand so that it landed like under his head and against his chest as he got back down on the bed.
Good boy.
It's really
And you
fucking
just held it
cute.
there, and I tried to pull it out to like leave once I thought he was asleep, and he like reached back and pulled it back so that it took a while. It was really cute.
That's the
That's
cutest
so
baby fucking
cute.
ever.
He's
God
great.
damn it.
Also, the waving for walking out.
I'm so glad you saw
So
it.
good
He's
at
getting better at
waving.
waving.
Oh,
I'm really good at waving.
Now he waves at TVs and monitors. That's
Oh.
great.
He waves
So
if we're
cute.
holding him and one of us is getting in a car to drive away, he'll wave at the car too.
Aww.
Aww.
He knows
He knows we're in the
context.
car.
I saw it this morning in my rearview mirror. It was
Yeah, he
great.
waved.
That's so
Oh.
cute.
Oh, the first day of school is going to be so tough for you two.
I mean, we've already done first day at daycare.
Yeah, it's going to be different when you have to put him on a bus, though.
We'll probably
You
drop
put
him.
him
I
on
was
a
gonna
bus.
say we're so close. I don't know.
Actually, if he goes to Llewellyn, walk him there. But
That'd be cool.
We'll see how the timing works with when school
yeah,
starts.
we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, this will walk would be fun.
Yeah, he's got a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, now that I've thoroughly taken us off the
very good.
It's allowed.
topic of discussion.
Just looking at the corkboard stuff,
Mm-hmm.
there was one that is the Fervor Art Gala is looking for security for the next event.
Yeah.
You all, I think, were like this close to doing it. I had a whole thing of like basically thieves trying to get in, and you were acting as security, and like what you would do about that, and like rude party guests and shit like that. But there was another one where the ankle biters, if anyone remembers,
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Yes.
yeah,
We
They,
go
um,
players.
Yes.
they were mentioned.
Lay down.
And then
Lay down.
finally, the one that I really thought someone would do was the Baron's birthday bloodbath bash. It said Sunday, it's coming once a year. We spill blood. Come celebrate our Baron's birthday bloodbath
I remember
bash.
that.
That was a red
Become a
flag.
champion,
all over.
fight for the Baron.
So much red flag. Oh my god.
That sounded intense.
Yeah. That's the point, though. You gotta do crazy stuff. But anyways,
Big money.
I loved that though, that you made a bulletin board. We had the option, and there were letters for us. Like,
Yeah, it was like a point of
Yeah.
communication. Like that served so many purposes, and I
like when there was
loved it.
Red Galleon stuff for Forza on the bulletin, like that was super cool.
I think I still have.
Harlan and I got a lot of use out of those letters.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Oh my god.
And
yeah.
when Kina got the stuff from Gubble, that was like really fucking cool.
Gobble. Forgot about Gobble.
Poor Gobble.
I'm
You're
still like a little bit sad about that. I was so like proud of that name. I think no, he's a skeleton.
Yeah, he was technically a zombie.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's right. He was the Onion Knight thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was totally an Onion Knight.
Oh god.
We
Alex?
didn't end up doing too many of those missions before the
Before
plot
kind of
took
like
over.
the main plot took over. Yeah.
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 Yeah, you did basically none of them. The only one that was really acted upon was James. You just took the Timmy Drond is missing, and you're like, "Can I run that night?" I was like, "Yeah, sure. Here's my notes, which were nothing.
That was
Go
fun.
nuts."
That was great.
I based what we did on your notes. It was like, oh, there's gonna be some owlbears, and there's gonna be like a necromancer. And,
So that kind of sparks a potentially fun idea if this quest were to come back. If everybody submitted like a little note for like a Timmy drawn sort of a thing, and folks that want to not force a one-off would have to base it on the little notes that somebody else had wrote.
Mm.
That's a fun idea.
Because I like that idea that James kind of like took. He's like, okay, this is all I need to get started, and then
one thing that I definitely wanted to do with my one-off was have it in universe. Not to like criticize, the way like you did, for example, Kyle, but you took us to a different dimension and did your own thing. And
I was
like,
afraid of how it would impact the rest of the world.
I wanted to impact the world, though.
Yeah.
I was like,
"Fuck you, Arlen Spencer. Deal with
I'm
this
gonna
shit."
add some shit of my own. Yeah. So I was like,
That's
okay, I
fine.
want
wanna
to do
leave
one of
your
these
mark.
quests because they're
There's
already.
a chicken person in your universe. What now?
And then it's like, okay, I'm gonna introduce this mercenary company that might come up later. I'm gonna introduce this druid character and a sort of greater druid movement that might come up later. Timmy, is an NPC that could come up later. Sounds like. Yeah, I wanted it to be in the universe.
And it worked.
Just to throw some shit in.
It
We're great.
Yeah.
And you got what you wanted.
Yeah.
You
Obviously,
came
I
to the
didn't do
final
anything.
fight.
Yeah, that's true. I obviously didn't do anything crazy. And Briscoe shows up. Oh wait, he had a heart attack.
yeah.
It's so
I would have
bad.
been so mad.
And then you all woke, and then Sirius woke up. He's like, "Ah."
Fuck.
It was all a dream.
There's
That
always
would have
that
been
He
cool
hasn't
though,
died yet.
not
Oh,
just
good.
because you're like playing within the world, but because then it would have given Spencer and Harlan stuff to pull from later.
Yeah.
Or like pull in.
It did.
If
There's
you
a whole
wanted.
world of whatever's going on in the mountains with Fallacious.
Yeah, don't worry
That's
about
right.
it.
Yeah, because he showed up later at last stop.
Yeah, don't worry about
Yeah.
it. It's fine.
That's right. Yeah, Westworld.
They're fine there.
It's just Westworld.
It's a very delicate balance of sometimes you have to end up throwing out stuff because someone brings in something that's like, oh, that's what that does now. Okay, just rip. Start taking notes. So that's fine. At the end of the day, you can't really be married to anything you do. And
Totally.
so, Alex, now that you're here, we may start marathoning you with some of the questions we've gone through so far. First one, how about this? What would you say is your favorite kind of like story line or little arc that we've done? Or like if you were to tell someone about like the game, what would you say is your example? Like, we went here and did this kind of thing. What would be your elevator pitch for the soup troop to somebody? I guess that's another way to put
Oh
it.
gosh. Well, so are you looking for like a piece within the main plot, or like how would I describe
Like a piece.
our adventure over the
Piece.
past couple years?
Like a piece.
Like the story begins with this one time the party ...
Yeah.
Like my example was this one time
Oh,
the party
gosh.
killed Santa.
Okay, so that was the first thing I thought of.
Yeah.
But I was trying to think if I like missed
counts.
anything that I really wanted to come to. Yeah, I think that would be the first one. Is this one time this party killed Santa Claus?
That's a really strong one. It
That was exactly the first thing I thought of, Spencer.
sets a tone pretty hard for how we handle this stuff.
Well, it's just it had that whole thing had like us trying to figure shit out, us royally fucking things up, and everything's still
It's where we got
Progressed.
the Wand of Wonder, I think, right?
That sounds right.
Is that where we got the one?
That sounds wrong.
No.
That's where you lost it.
Oh yeah, we did lose it for a while.
That's the connection.
I couldn't get it back. It's
You
been
lost
when?
the Wand of Wonder for a while?
Yeah.
It was missing for a while.
Gosh, my memory is not what I would want it to be. I need to.
Yeah, this is why we
I
use
have,
Wiki.
I have dreams of just like reading through the whole wiki.
That was almost 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And
Okay,
yet
so
there are people who remember. I enjoy this campaign so much. I want to like lock all the details into my brain and have them at my disposal. I want the whole thing as like an audiobook
that's
that
what
I can
the
listen
Wiki's
to
for.
repeatedly.
We were just talking about doing a
Well,
trying to
maybe
figure
we
out how to
will.
make this a podcast or like a thing.
Em, say your thing again.
We were talking earlier about trying to make campaign 2 into some sort of like podcasty, YouTubey, record the audio thing.
I'm recording
It'd
this
be good for-
tonight.
Posterity.
Yeah.
I would be
us.
very into recording the audio because I like to listen and re-listen to things.
Yeah.
We can make that happen. It might be on Spencer's side since they're probably gonna be the one with the active computer that can. Or we can both record it. Or
Oh no, I definitely can record it.
I would probably be on my shitty work laptop and probably couldn't handle.
Oh
the
yeah, no,
streaming
I
of
can
it
I
and
can
doing
100% record it. That'd be fine.
it. Okay.
That'd be totally fine.
One thing that I enjoyed about at White when we destroyed the tree was that we had this like very significant disagreement between
Yes.
our party members about what to do.
That's one of the things I enjoyed about it
Yeah,
as well.
and like I don't know if everybody likes disagreeing, but I thought it was very fun to be like Bliss and Sirius felt very strongly that we shouldn't destroy this tree, and the rest of us felt that we should, and it was occurring during the fight, or like right before
Yes.
the fight, and like during the fight. It was
Like,
so
no,
Sirius was,
this
like,
thing's
very worked up.
attacking you actively, and you're like, we gotta destroy this tree. And Sirius and Bliss are like,
Like,
uh-oh.
but hang on, let's think
Like
about
Sirius
it.
was like basically fighting us, non-lethally, and that was very fun. And there were other moments in the campaign where we had like genuine disagreements for what to do, and it's very immersive, and it's very engaging. Like,
Well, it made it really interesting to. It made it harder for me to try and roleplay that because. Yeah, Sam. Yeah,
Yep.
because then we get into like. We just want to have a discussion, like as ourselves, as people, but we're also needing and wanting to have it as characters, which is like two different discussions. Where is it the players who are disagreeing, or the characters who are disagreeing, or players who are disagreeing with characters, and then how do you reconcile that? Because you can't.
It is.
I had to talk to Harlan and Spencer the week before our finale about exactly that, actually. Because when we were
I would imagine so.
we were having a heated discussion about like what plan can we take into our final battle. Like, oh my god, there's so little that we actually have evidence for, and I had to talk to them because I was having difficulty separating my feelings, Sirius's feelings towards like James, Sam, Brodo, and Kina, because I was getting my character was getting frustrated with them, and I needed to pick apart which was the characters and not the actual people, which was important because, like I was saying earlier, if he was going to fall into the category of, becoming an enemy of yours, would these disagreements, these constant, kind of like butting heads, would this play into that decision making or not? And the tree was definitely the first thing I thought of because that was the first time we actually like
I'd call that that was an argument. That was beyond a discussion. That was an argument.
Yeah, it was.
With weapons.
Yeah.
It was. What's the term? Physical negotiations or something like that.
Aggressive negotiations.
Aggressive
Kyle,
negotiations.
I appreciate you as a person.
It is difficult. There's
Star Wars reference.
some people that it is hard for me sometimes to determine where the Venn diagram between like James and Brodo is not a circle. Sometimes
It was mostly a circle.
It's mostly a circle. And so it's situations like that where I'm pretending to be a buff female hunter who kills dinosaurs for a living, and I'm trying to talk to a scarred dwarf who's the emissary to a dead, forgotten god. And he's like, "You're being completely unreasonable." And it's like, ow. My heart.
Yeah.
I know she's unreasonable, but that hurt me. And it's hard to separate that. Because, like, we don't do this for a living, but... I mean, it always works out fine, and everyone comes back, like, the following week, just, like, fucking pumped and ready to go, and... Like, we're not actors, but pretending to be actors, which is acting in itself. It's weird.
It is.
It's a weird separation that takes practice.
I think I gained a lot of arguing communication skills via the Soup Troop as somebody who actively avoids any kind of confrontation at all, even excuse me. So it's been difficult, but I appreciated each time coming back, and it wasn't residual, like Harlan was saying.
There's gotta be that hard reset where it's just like, all right, we had a week. Yeah. People are non-heated. Yeah. It's all fake. It's all fantasy. We're wizards and karate monks.
But the fact that, like, we could argue about something, and, like, I could speak, and one, that was okay to speak, and then also that it, like, you just did it, and then you kept going. And that both of those concepts were brand new. So it was a lot of learning.
That's great. I mean, definitely as somebody who is like who's not reluctant to, you know, express their opinion, to disagree if other people have different opinions. I certainly never met any blood, and we're always all on the same team. I think that's, you know, that's sort of fun and engaging. And so if, you know, Sirius says something like, "Give me all your shards before the fight," and I'm gonna be like, "That's like, stupid. Why would we do that?" You know, I know that Sirius is saying that character, and Brodo's saying that character too. Although you are right that Brodo's character and James's personality are basically the same thing. That's, you know, that's what I would say. Yeah, well, yeah, it's true.
One day we all are.
Yeah. But that is obviously, that doesn't mean I'm like calling Kyle stupid, or that I like am mad at Kyle for suggesting that. It's just.
Oh, Kitty.
Kitty.
It's a weird learning curve.
Yeah.
And I think most of the people here, this is their first, like, in-person, free-form role-playing game that's not being run off a computer with a script. Right? I mean...
I only had high school drama classes and failed attempts at, what's the spontaneous thing?
Improv. Yes,
improv.
And...
A failed attempt at improv club.
And from that
and
perspective...
this was wildly more fun than both of those.
God, yes. You get to throw fire at people.
Yeah.
I guess maybe from your perspective, Sam, specifically, what did you expect when you were invited to play for the first time? And maybe very difficult to express, but like, what was it like learning as you played? Because like no one could sit you down and teach you how to do this. Also for Alex as well, looks like.
Yeah, Alex, if you, I can keep thinking if you have something
you,
like...
Yeah, you want a second to think? Because...
Yeah, if you're right here, go.
Yeah, I was trying to... As you were asking the question, Harlan, I was trying to think, like, what did I expect from D&D when the idea was proposed? And my honest first thought was, I just want an excuse to hang out with these people. Aww. And so I joined in kind of, whatever this turns into, like whatever this means, I will play along because I want to spend time with these people. And that was a little bit selfish of me because Harlan and Kyle, like, I've known y'all for a long time, but you've always been James's friends. Like, I am the +1. And so I wanted an excuse to, like, develop our own friendship. And that was awesome. And then Spencer and Sam, I got to know you as well. And I was like, these people seem cool. I want more friends that are cool. because it always felt like James had a really secure friend network, and most of mine at that point I left in Spokane. And so that was really what I was excited about. And I had no idea what to expect from D&D as its own thing. I had no associations with it other than I assumed it was nerdy, but that I was okay with that. And it turned into this like, oh, I have to pretend to be a thing that I'm not. That's kind of uncomfortable, but let's try kind of deal.
So you're saying that we fooled you 2 times over. One, that D&D is cool, and 2, that you think we are cool, which we are statistically not cool.
The curtain has been lifted.
I would say it depends on who you ask. I think you're
True.
cool, so...
Yep. Yeah.
Well, you can't always be right. That's what I have to say.
Spencer is the standard of DM I hold myself to.
What? No, I'm
Yeah.
not good at all.
Well, standards.
False.
Don't even.
Spencer, no.
I absolutely forbid you. I mean, you can think what you want, but I will tell you that I think you are both marvelous DMs.
Opinions
Yes.
can
How,
be
m-
wrong,
how many
Spencer.
other DMs have you had?
It doesn't matter.
Alex has
Hang
had
on.
Played
a few
a little
others.
bit
Two.
in college.
3.
3.
Yeah.
Yes.
Top
3.
40%. All right. I'll
Yeah,
take it.
Does
see?
do
I
people
put a
in
lot of
our
games
group count?
Oh,
Other
yeah,
than
see?
Spencer and Harlan?
Sure.
Yeah.
Other than Spencer, so Harlan, Kyle.
6.
James ran a night. You ran a night.
Wait, oh, 4. 4?
You- Sam, did you run 2 nights or just 1 night?
2.
Yeah, there were
Two and a half.
There were 2.
Kyle and I split 1.
2.5 sounds right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there was that night. Shit.
We did the night where we were like in the tunnels.
Yeah.
You also did, you did
Yes.
the puzzle, like, word tile one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Kyle and I split a night where I had you guys doing a puzzle to get into a rock wall, and then he did the combat with the vampire thing? With the casket at the end? Or something? Or I don't know.
I do.
Yeah.
I was not part
That
of
does.
that.
Yeah. That does ring
Okay.
a bell.
I might be mushing 2 things, but I did the rock puzzle and then he did the combat.
Rock puzzle sounds familiar.
It's
Might have
like
been a night that
all of us.
we asked people to DM because Spencer was out specifically.
It may
and
have
then
been,
mailed to up in
actually,
the
yeah. Yeah.
Looking
As
back
far
at all
as-
the things, there was very few that I actually missed
Because you
as
ran
far
them
as
all.
games.
Each episode will tell you who was there.
And I love that.
Yeah.
Quickly running out of aliases to give people on here.
Sometimes it was tricky to be like, what should I call? Like if we were doing a one-off, should I use our Super Troop names or
To
I don't
protect
want to
the
use our real
innocents,
names.
I guess.
So, yeah.
If we could
Well-
highlight it and connect it to like our accounts. Now that
Or like
would
when
make
we were
sense.
doing Bone Heist, it's like, well, what do I call Spencer? Because Spencer doesn't have a character name in Bone Heist.
Do we just call them Bone God? I don't know.
Yeah. Let's.
Hi, Jess.
Ideas.
She says hello. Can I
Okay.
tell him why I turned off my camera? Yeah, because she's not wearing any pants.
I
So
assumed.
That's fine.
everyone says hello.
That's why Elena only shows her face.
If you put on pants, you can come say hello.
It is a requirement.
Don't, I mean, you're in your own house, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, now we're in their house, technically. I mean, like, in a way.
Well,
Alright.
okay, that's,
She-
that's
I mean,
that's
most of the audience here, we don't even know if they're wearing pants.
She came in here with an ice cream sandwich in her
Yeah.
hand,
Do
like
that.
halfway in her mouth, and she's like, "I'm here to get my backpack." And I was like, "Do you want to wave hi?" And she just like opens the door, she just has underwear, and she's like, "Oh, okay, never mind."
I love Jess. That's amazing.
I'm slamming an ice
Please
cream
tell her.
sandwich.
Aw.
You think I want to say
Amazing.
hi? The answer is yes.
Sorry.
What other questions do we have to...
Well, wait, Sam didn't
Steal
get to
from
answer the
Hal.
one of
Yes.
what she expected from D&D.
What did you expect? What'd you think?
Well, coming into it, I think I had met you all like
Once.
2 or 3 weeks before we started, I think.
Pretty
Maybe a month?
shortly before.
Yeah. So I had like I had no friends, and I don't even know if we had started dating or not when we actually started the campaign, but part of it was that like I wanted to know your friends. And then also when I found out that Alex was gonna be there, I was like, fuck yeah, I'm playing. I don't care if everybody else is weird. I need girlfriends so bad.
I need female
I
female
need
friends.
girlfriends so bad. And I do Harlan a little bit before too, and so I was like, all right, I got two people who are super cool.
The other ones
Everybody
seem
else-
alright.
Exactly, and so it was a big part of that of why I wanted to play, and I also have done a lot of acting, and I missed acting, and I knew that there was the potential if I could get into it enough to create a character and then have that outlet of acting and being theatrical and coming up with the whole thing, which I didn't go as far as I thought I was going to, but I got into it a lot more than I was also expecting because I was super scared about the math and reading and all of the like.
That was intimidating at the
I
beginning.
was
There's a lot,
so
yeah.
terrified, and that was a big part of why Kina didn't have a lot of like a personality. It's because I was so scared about having to read the stuff out loud and remember how to do the things and learn how to count all of the numbers together. And
Wizard
Like the
was
mechanics of how the game works.
Exactly.
And you
very-
chose
Yeah.
the most complicated class to do that.
One of the reasons I'm multi-classed.
not knowingly. Not knowingly.
Yeah, I just thought magic. I mean, I love magic, and so I was
Yeah,
like,
that's fair.
okay, let's do that. And I was like, there's a lot of dice. Cool, okay. But that was another insecurity coming into it that I felt like I've been able to work through quite a bit. Like I can read out loud a lot better than I could before we started this because I just didn't. And I mean, my counting is shit, but that's why I have my phone and or Heartland.
James is the number man now.
That's true. That's really whoever's sitting next to me is.
That's also true.
Help me count things.
Help
And
me.
I would say that you've gotten like more comfortable in that too, because every time that we've done like a one-off that has allowed us to make like new characters, like the first thing that you do when you bring this character to the table is like a different personality,
Yeah.
like a way to like who is this tonight?
Yeah,
and so
'cause
that
I
was
figured-
really cool to see.
Thanks. Yeah. I think learning the mechanics helped me feel a lot more comfortable, and then as we've been doing one-offs, I've really been able to like dig in and do the Alex, I love it. Do the character voices and the mannerisms and really like get into it. Like Mr. Bull, I know that's not super true, but like when I came with like Mr. Bull, like that was exactly what I wanted, and it was so much fun. And then what I knew before coming into this with D&D was in high school, some of the weird, quiet boys on swim team used to do Dungeons and Dragons and Magic on our tournaments, and that's all I knew.
They played at
Oh.
the tournament?
That's
yeah,
awesome.
we
Because
do
there's
like
downtime in
weekends.
between meet and
Yeah.
yeah.
Not at the
Yeah,
pool.
you're waiting.
Oh,
Not
okay.
at the pool. We had we would have to travel, so we'd spend our weekends in hotels, and they would spend their evenings when all of us would go in the pool to hang out, or like in the common, whatever, to like play cards or something. This small group of boys, guys, would stay up in their hotel room and lock the door and play Dungeons and Dragons and Magic. And
I want
I
to do
saw
that.
it one time, and they were
I
like
love it.
had their shirts like
delightful.
up here. They
That's
like
weird.
all
That's
so
weird.
there's like just they're like they had like short shorts and little tube tops on, and they were like one of them had a hat, and there were Cheetos everywhere.
Hell yeah.
Cheetos,
The
the classic.
unofficial food of D&D.
Yeah, and then somebody like grabbed a pillow and hit somebody else, and they were like, "I attacked you!" And then they like hit somebody, and it was just.
I love
I
it.
stood in the
That's
door for about
LARPing.
10 minutes, and I was like, well, "This seems interesting, but also, huh?
Oddly homoerotic in like the right way.
Wet swimming? I mean, yeah."
I mean, yeah, I mean, that's fine. It's just, yeah, no, I played D&D once when I was like 16, and that sounds about right. It's mostly an excuse to be weird with your body.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Roleplay.
I don't think that was D&D.
It may not have
oh, it
been.
was.
It just somebody said this is Dungeons and Dragons. I was like,
I also knew that I've always like most of the books that I've read have been sci-fi and fantasy, and this was like in that realm. Like, oh hey, this seems like a thing I'd enjoy, sort of existing in.
On the topic of existing in, is my terrible segue to this next question for Alex. Memorable NPCs was a question that we brought up earlier.
Oh, I thought I heard y'all talking about this.
So I guess it doesn't have to be a single one if you have like a short list or.
Well, I mean
Mar.
Mar.
Express this top. I could talk
Everyone
about Mar for an hour.
No one mentioned Mar yet.
Mar, yeah.
You're saving it. But there's so
Spencer,
much.
what did you say?
Mention why, please.
Oh, why?
Yeah.
Well.
Yes, and.
Yes, and. Hi, Charlie.
Charlie's a good dog.
So pathetic.
I love that Charlie was our mascot for forever.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. She loved those nights too. That was she loved them.
I'm going to get going here in a little bit. We've got a dog trial tomorrow.
Oh,
I gotta be up at 5.
Ooh.
What did Henry do?
Is he guilty?
Yes.
He's guilty of being too good of a boy, and we can't get out of it.
I've done what I can.
That's fair.
So
I don't know how
sorry.
you're gonna make a case against that.
Yeah, he's got 2 accounts of silly pants. And also,
Pretty sure
count
that's
for
a
it.
felony.
The state of Oregon. You get in a lot of trouble for that.
Yeah.
Real quick before Kyle books out, I'll put the Q&A on Alex on hold for a sec.
Yeah.
If we're going to be wrapping up the review tonight, for the next week, if people are able and willing to do something, do we want to continue with Candle? Do we want to start rotating the multiple campaigns we have going on currently between the Rachel stuff, Kyle stuff? What do people want to do after tonight, real quick, if there's a strong preference out there?
Yeah, I think do our DMs need a break? How much of a break? Like you both talked about needing.
I think Spencer and I are
figure
done
out
for
campaign two.
now until we tell people it's time to start talking
Okay.
about campaign 2.
Yeah.
Cool.
Like, that's on hold until we reach
I was
out.
gonna say, based on Spencer's face alone.
Yeah, no, Harlan and I have a lot to
Like
figure
take some
out.
breaks.
And
That's okay.
Harlan's dropped
We're
some
in no
hints
rush.
that he wants
Oh,
to throw
yeah.
out all of our hard work that we made so long ago.
We're gonna throw it all.
We're in no rush. Whatever.
Yeah.
No,
No rush.
Not at all.
So I guess,
I mean, you guys still have your candle game, right?
Kyle, would you be willing to start running Candle on Fridays again? And
Sure.
I guess that question would lead into, do people want to do Candle online still?
I would like it as an option.
Okay.
And actually, well, where would we do it if we didn't do it?
We would have to probably find somewhere central. My place has space for it. We have a lot of people, so it may not be viable to have everyone here. Continuing to do it online would probably be very strong as an option
Actually,
for Kyle and Rachel and Alex, since they have living things to take care of.
and also we're going back into winter, and I don't think that I'm gonna want to be around people pretty soon. Because I'm a little bit nervous again about being around groups.
Gotcha.
So I'd like to keep online at least as an option.
Okay.
Especially with how backwards we're going, because like now masks are mandated outside again.
Gotcha.
So I wouldn't be surprised if
That's a
we
good
can't
point.
get together in another
Yeah.
like 6 weeks or so.
I don't think that lockdowns are going to happen, especially not in Oregon or anything like that, when masks and vaccines are the way to go. And that's even what the governor said, Kate Brown said. But
Yeah.
but I want to say I agree with you. I think you all should still do virtual, given the way that Delta is still burning hot right now.
Yeah.
I think James and I I would like that for our household.
All right.
It's
Cool.
your game. But yeah, it's fine.
It works out for me. I have become quite comfortable with DMing and being the player behind the screen now. So this is convenient for me too. So if y'all want to do candles on Fridays, or for any reason we want to do something else, like somebody else wants to run a night, or you got some characters that I know we're not really talking about like season 2 stuff, but like if people think about classes they want to like mess around with, we can also create scenarios to
Like
accompany
Tesla.
that.
Yeah, I started thinking about that.
Skeletons 2.
That was basically what
Because-
Skeletons
Yes!
was.
Can I just make
This time it's femur.
Get
I don't know.
boned.
What about zombies?
Get boned. Nah, I'm not doing undead again.
Yeah.
Can I just bring Hank, but like Hank before he was an undead, and like play Hank the Birdman?
Jank.
Sure.
His name is
He
Jank.
was so much fun.
Or with that as an inspiration. Just like make a couple tweaks if you feel like it.
I
I'm weird with
might.
it.
I mean, I wrote like I had a character all planned out, but now I don't know.
That's fine.
It's fine.
What are
It's
the
been a long
campaign 2
time.
characters that people have already that we know about?
Without delving too deep into stuff,
Let's just say classes.
Warlock is.
Okay.
I've been working on one for 3 years, so.
Fighter.
Okay.
Sorry.
Warlock fighter.
Kyle's
I will not
weird.
have a character.
No, not at all.
I will not have a player character in the traditional
Okay.
sense. I will play characters
Okay.
when Harlan is DMing. We will work with it there. I will not have a Bliss equivalent.
Professional NPC player.
Yes.
I'm gonna say possibly Warlock, but I don't think that's right. I have no idea. I don't.
Okay.
Oh, you know what? I can go on roll on the what's it called? Hero Forge.
Yeah. I think Kyle nailed down some like third-party option that you wanted to run with, right? Or did you want to swap into something else on that?
Oh, this is good in my book so far. I've created a solid character for each subclass in it for funsies.
All right, Kyle's
For
running
cleric,
some weird
is that what you're doing?
third-party shit that no one has to worry about.
Yeah, for what was your class?
Yeah, what was your class?
It's weird third-party shit no one has to worry about.
Okay.
Is it a magic user or not?
Can we just
Yes,
tell him?
and
A little bit. It's weird.
Can we just say?
Does Kyle want to say?
Is it
you
super
want us-
secret?
no,
We're
it's
gonna
not,
know before the campaign. So.
Yeah.
it's not super secret. It's a blood hunter.
Oh, I was gonna guess Bloodhunter.
Yeah, it's Matt Mercer, guy who runs Critical Role.
Yeah.
He created this class. It's like hyper complicated and very bitty.
Do you know?
What do you mean?
Um,
It's even witchery. It's when I
It's like
read
a-
it.
It's a Witcher.
Gee, I
It's a
wonder why
fucking
Kyle wants
Witcher.
to play it.
It's like a
Those are nice.
Bloodborne Witcher. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an Eldritch Horror Witcher.
Or
Okay.
Victorian witcher. Yeah.
There's like a curse-based one. There's like blood-based one, and then there's the lycanthropy one.
Yeah, like the werewolf.
Lycanthropy.
one.
Lycanthropy?
Lycanthropy.
Lycanthropy. Thank you. I don't know
Okay.
why. Thank you. That's what it
Lycanthropy.
was. Lycanthropy.
Interesting.
Lycanthropical.
Okay.
A lot of weird stuff.
So- Okay.
Yeah. Campaign 2 is going to be weird. We'll have plenty of time
Oh,
to
no, wait,
start
okay.
filling with stuff.
James, you're a fighter?
Yes.
Beautiful. Ah, beautiful.
Still can't.
Perfect.
I can't
Yeah,
find or remember.
That's
Are you
fine.
still playing on Arcane Archer?
Yeah.
Cool.
Arcane Archer.
Arcane Archer.
It's good
Wait,
shit.
so
They
is
shoot
everybody
magic
a
arrows.
magic user?
Well, so I was
It's not
gonna
a
do
bad-
some.
Everyone's
I was gonna do
okay.
a half and half, but I think I might want to do just a melee.
It's pretty fun.
There's a lot of
Yeah,
good stuff you can
because
do for that.
I really like playing Hank, and I really like playing Hank. And I know he had a tiny bit of magic, so it might be something like that again. But I really liked
That's a
doing.
thing.
Everyone has a little bit of
Who's
magic in
going
D&D.
Paladin?
No.
I was
My
looking
favorite
at it.
class.
I was looking at it. I don't.
I have an idea because James and I are doing a thing where like one of us is around while the other one's not, so we don't have to pay for a babysitter every single week.
Yes.
But some of them we can. I have a plan.
All right. It's gonna be a.
I'm
Yay.
thinking cleric or paladin, depending on. I've got a character concept now.
It-
Was it the one that
In
had
this
like
moment.
2 personalities?
No, I think
Okay.
I think we're gonna have separate bodies.
we're gonna have separate bodies,
Oh,
but only one of
cool.
us will be around. We might
Got it. Okay.
be a married couple who shares a family.
There'll be
Sure.
there'll be some contrivance.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
It-
cute.
We're
Yeah.
gonna
I
have
like it.
a lot of contrivances built into the framework of how campaign 2 is gonna work. It's a lot of stuff we can talk about later.
Yeah.
It may be more resemblant of what we originally wanted to do with the paper sword and enable rotating casts so that if we don't have enough people for some weeks, other people can rotate in. Like there's a lot that we haven't nailed down, but
Cool.
there are options out there so people don't have to make condolences with with their creation.
One more campaign
see.
1 question.
Or condolences, you don't know.
Or condolences. Campaign 1, yes. Back, yes.
Are we going to do any kind of like this is where a character might be? Are we gonna do that?
So, there's always a possibility that I will be running. I was going to call them postmortems. That's not correct. There's always the possibility I could run.
Epilogue. They're called you Googlies.
You Googlies. Post epilogue sessions for the troop
Okay.
for whenever
Yeah.
Spencer needs a break from what they're running at any given time. And
Okay.
it would involve like the post second sundering stuff.
Yeah.
Right? For people who don't
Yeah.
know, what you guys experienced at the finale was the second sundering. The nation
Right.
got fucked up hard. There's going to be a lot of fallout from that. It won't be a horrible spoiler, I don't think, to say that cities are very, very concerned, scared, and agitated after that, and they are probably going to be lashing out at each other in a violent way.
Right.
So, watch out for that.
Okay.
But
Is Bifo okay? Like that's the only thing that's sitting. I haven't stopped thinking about it because we didn't do any kind of like a.
let's
back,
assume
like, is that
yes
something-
until I tell you
Okay.
otherwise.
Okay.
So basically, Soup
Yeah.
Troop is mine now, and Spencer has everything after that. Everything to and forward. But
So
assume yes.
this
Wait, that's not what we agreed on, Harlan.
Oh shit. We agree on. What am I wrong on? What did I do? correct
Okay,
me.
we'll talk about it later.
Fuck.
We don't need to talk about it in front of the kids.
Infants.
well, I will find this next session, the potential quote unquote conclusion to season 1, very interesting then.
It's gonna be like multiple little vignettes, like sporadic over the years. It's gonna be like a multi-year, once a year Harlan does a thing kind of thing. So I hope y'all like D&D
These
for
characters
10
will never
years.
die. They'll never be done.
No, that just gets worse from here.
Okay, sounds good.
Cool.
Yeah.
Kyle, you said you had to dip, or how much longer do you got?
I'm going to dip, but please continue onwards.
We
In the
have
meantime.
so many more questions for Alex, and I am recording all of this. I'll upload it somewhere, and if you want to listen later, you can. So
Thank you.
Just give me the timestamp where I log out, and I'll pick it up.
I'm not gonna do that.
I think
No,
we're at
you can
about
figure it
2.5 hours.
out. You can figure it out.
All right, night.
Later, Tater.
Take it
Wait.
easy.
Alex,
Yeah.
I think we got a name from your favorite NPC question, but I think that was it. So, tell me more about your top list. I know the who,
Mar?
like the why.
Yeah,
what's
tell us
going
more
on
about
there,
your
like,
boyfriend.
what
Ooh,
clicked?
smoochy,
About my-
smoochy,
About my
smooch.
maybe boyfriend. I really
Is it trusted?
enjoyed the like relationship tension. Not like just like what does this person mean to her? Like that was an internal thing that never really got figured out, partly because I didn't know, and mostly because Gorza didn't know.
Yeah.
And I liked that that was true. Like, does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. I appreciated that that was there, and that that was something that she was sort of struggling with and never really figured out.
It was an interesting little, I want to say puzzle, but that might minimize it. It was an interesting little puzzle where
Yeah.
I kind of knew what I wanted out of this guy. I knew that you had a specific idea of how Gorza like interacted with the idea of like significant others and how that
Mm-hmm.
may not be an option for her. And okay, that's totally good. How can I frame this guy and how he sees you in a way that isn't that,
Mm.
right? It's like,
Okay.
how can I make it clear that this NPC cares about you, trusts you, and like believes in you, but not in a way where he's like wants to put a ring on something and it's like get rid of that context because
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
anyone could do that.
That would be like an easy out.
It would be an easy out, yeah. And
Yes.
How do I
I
make
will
this
say one
interesting
thing that I enjoyed in like a so infuriating because I was so like emotionally invested in it kind of way. There was like one of the little communicator conversations where Gorza had like amped herself up to have like an emotional conversation about like basically what are we? And then you as Mar like gave one word answers, conversation enders, and then like dipped out before she even had a chance to get going. And I was like,
I think
and it was so infuriating because like Alex had like emotionally prepared for that like character play and then it didn't get to go anywhere. But I so appreciated that objectively. Like I thought that was really good. And I very much enjoyed it outside of in addition to the frustration.
it was all the energy of I'm working right now and I can't talk about this
Yes.
kind of
And I was
thing.
like, but
Yeah. And
yeah.
he's off doing his thing, like, and it worked. Found the clan with it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You got shit done. Yeah. I appreciated that ongoing tension.
I'm
Yeah.
very happy that I could stretch a Power Rangers ripoff into multiple years worth of character growth and development.
Yay!
Yeah.
Can I list off a couple more NPCs?
The what?
Please do.
So definitely Fu.
Oh, of
Fine,
course.
but Fu, like, that was, Fu, and,
Invented so many sports with Fu.
Awesome.
brilliant NPC. Fu, Calloway, Beefo, Pip. Like, those were
Oh, Pip.
really
Pip.
good on Pip.
Oh,
It was so
Pip.
sad. So sad, but, like, really good NPC.
What's her name? Marigold, your narrative foil?
Yeah.
That
That was the evil.
Fuck Marigold.
that is the one NPC
Right?
that I feel like I underutilized significantly. Yeah.
Ooh.
Why?
Say more words.
Yeah.
Because she showed up for one little bit. She was a huge antagonist. You were already pissed at her, and she dropped off the face of the earth until the very last second of the Blade firefight.
That's a good point.
Like,
Ooh,
Harlan
could've,
and I
like,
should
needled
have
her in
put
there a
her
little
in
bit.
there like
Yeah.
once or twice more and just been like,
Yeah.
she's still around. She's right here.
Right. Yeah.
Because there was a long stretch between those two things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but sometimes we get so focused on our current narrative bubble
Oh yeah.
that overlap becomes
Yeah.
either a distraction
it'd be
or
so
a
hard.
railroad.
Yeah.
It's like, no, they would
We were
just chase
weaving a
Marigold.
tapestry. We lost that
Only
thread,
Calloway.
but it's okay.
Calloway too.
Oh, Calloway's so good. He's he's off retiring. He's doing consulting work right now.
Probably
He
in
knows how to
like
get a
a
hold of
old
you.
man bikini swimsuit. I imagine
Nudist
him
beach
like,
all the way for
Yeah.
Callaway.
ooh.
Retiring on the plane of sex. It's like, that's not a real plane, Callaway. It's
Wait,
not
this is
real.
a plane
gonna
of
make
6. No.
He's gonna make it a plane.
Mm.
He could probably make a plane.
How would I have such like a love you
It's a
relationship
love
with?
you relationship, yeah.
We're
Well,
not-
it's
He's
really
not good.
accurate. But he's also amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
It always made me smile when we were headed in that direction or he came up, but it was like, oh
Yeah.
gosh.
I
At the
always
same
knew
time.
that was gonna be a huge, like, penis joke, sex joke night. And it was just like, it was so funny.
I feel like we need to have somebody too that like we can at least try to ask questions of. That is an expert,
Yeah.
you know. Like your party
Yes.
needs to have somebody where it's like, yo, what
We
is
need
this?
we need to have a
And he's
wealth
not
of
gonna
knowledge.
necessarily answer, but like
Yeah.
you gotta have somebody like that.
The old wizened wizard is like just like a staple of D&D. Like that you just like
Absolutely.
go to and it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Someone who knows almost everything. They're working on higher problems, but they need someone to take care of the lower problems, and that's everyone below their level, and that's you guys.
Yeah.
And it works.
Plus, also, like, Callaway's face when we would come to him and be like, here's this problem, and then Harlan's like, ah,
Like,
of
okay,
Callaway's
all
face.
right, here we go. We got
oh
what
my
is this? Some
God,
sort
what?
of big golden brick from a god? I don't know. It breaks down dimensions or
Yeah.
something. Here you go.
I loved it. He was such a good character.
He's great. Doesn't know everything, but he knows enough to put you guys on the wrong path. So that's all I need.
And he gave Kina like a framework for what to do like after she's done with this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
You know,
that
have
was
the
really
power and
cool.
all that. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
That was a
was
big
really, really nice.
inspiration from the Matt Koval guy who does all the videos on the YouTubes. He has a whole book of like having
yeah.
buildings that a player's class can like invest money into to get rewards out of.
Oh,
And that is
interesting.
what the spell sculpting and the wizard tower is. Like it's a
Yeah.
it's a stronghold that you can pump resources into and get power out of. And that's what the
Super cool.
playhouse is. That you can put time and
Right.
money into it and get resources out of it, unless you leave it alone for 6 months and let it decrepit into dead. But besides that, yeah, it becomes a base of operations, and that concept revolves around a game where an adventuring party isn't Lord of the Ringing it somewhere together
Right.
in a group.
Yeah.
It's like they separate, they do their stuff, they come back for one last mission, and that and then they separate.
It's Avengers,
come back, and,
as Matt Covell puts it.
yeah,
it's
an
Avengers.
mission where you get your Avengers tower, but it's useless if you don't spend time there. So,
Right.
but now that it's Endgame, literally, haha, Avengers.
Oh, wow.
That's where your characters
no.
are probably going to be spending time and money at, and then that's probably where they live. And I would assume that people tell me if I'm wrong, but is it fair to assume that now that the job is done, do the characters kind of spend time where they want to, or do they stick together a little bit? Like, what do you guys think?
First one for Brodo.
Gonna head off to do their own thing.
Brodo wants to have the opera house and become a mogul.
Gotcha. It's gonna be difficult.
You know, would probably go back to the library, but I think most of us is the apartment that Gorza has. Is that also in?
That's an Oiler. Yeah.
Oiler.
She has the
And
key.
where are we?
I have the key.
Dropmore?
I imagine enough time there's enough time that people can go to where they want. This is hypothetical.
And I also I held the key, but it's not like my apartment. So
Yeah. I see.
Brodo did try.
I think Gorzo would have to buy out like our equity in it if she wanted to have it entirely.
It was a
I think
gift. So
Arlen
it's
and I thought
zero.
about equity.
He's a mogul. What do you want?
Look, jointly owned 1/6. I think that's fair.
So I guess
I think Gina would do the
how
library.
how do you calculate the value of that apartment?
I assume there's a way to calculate real estate prices.
extra dimensional real estate
In
is the
Port
word.
Oiler.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 14 goblin butts to buy out
Is that
your
per
share
cheek
of
or
it.
is it like a
All right.
pair of cheeks?
Huh?
That's like
It's
So one
a-
cheek.
it's-
Yeah.
It's the whole butt. It has to be together.
Oh,
Anus too, and taint.
Uh-huh.
Dig into it. Love it. I hate it.
Sorry, butt jokes again.
No, it's all right.
Oh, butt jokes are great.
They sure sound great, don't they?
Gosh,
I hear them a lot.
I'm
That
sorry.
pretty much
sorry.
just leaves. So
Not you.
because
I know.
Sirius and Karth are gone. They're whatever they're doing.
Sirius has a
So-
work debt to
Yeah.
work off.
That's right.
Karth
Yes.
is gone for
Yeah.
all intents and purposes. He's
Yeah.
off the playing board. Kina has the tower that she can spend time
Yeah.
at with her kids.
She's
Bliss
got.
has
She's
the
got.
temple.
Listen. Yeah.
Brodo
Yeah.
has the playhouse, and Gorza has the option of a couple things.
Yeah.
She can go back.
Orza would be exploring, at least starting by exploring this extended Caldrac clan.
For context, this wouldn't be a huge spoiler. You know that they come from like far off into the sea, long ago, when a bunch of ships were commuting from wherever they came from originally towards Juniper. One of them got lost in a storm. The other two docked on the west side of Juniper, formed New Caldrac, which became Caldrac, and then the lost ship formed also New Caldrac. But it was
Which
on
is
an
now
island.
other Calderoc.
Yeah, which is just on an island. So, yeah. And Mar's been spending most of his time with Galleon there, trying to recruit them, and was fruitful. You do have the context that they have a teleportation circle finally inscribed inside the Red Galleon now, so that is a
Cool.
Oh,
commute
That's
option for
awesome.
people.
that's good to know.
Yeah, it was an offhand comment during the final fight.
Wait, that functions even when the galleon moves?
You just need the
That's
circle.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's
You can put it on a rug and
awesome.
take it with you. Like, you just need the circle.
It's really cool.
It takes a year to draw on
That's
a rug.
awesome.
But, yeah.
Cool.
I think Kina's like first objective would be get to Bifo, but then also like figure out.
A wedding ceremony?
Well,
Sorry,
um,
I'm kidding.
I mean, yes,
I'm kidding.
but,
Yes, and.
but Penge is in the hand that's with Sirius, that's
Oh,
in
yeah,
wherever
no.
Sirius got scooped off to.
Impossible
So,
to find. You
He's
have no
going,
idea where he is.
where's my dragon?
Yeah,
You'll
so
have to track down Patch.
she may try to like go up to the Grove of the Bear potentially, but also maybe not. I don't know. She might look into some like
That would be a
sending
whole thing.
magic. Yeah, but that's
Sending
like
magic is the whole thing.
but just like her, she'll be at the library, but I think what she's doing is trying to research how to find Penge.
But, okay. Yeah.
After
To-dos
getting-
and concerns are exactly what
Yeah.
I'm kind of hunting for.
Yeah.
So Sirius would have both Penge and the flute from the plagiarist, and I think those are the only two things of note on him. As far as and the Amulet of Luck, that's not like a plot relevant thing. That's probably fine.
Spencer, that looks really good.
God, that is good. Is
Yeah,
that one of the
it's
round ones? Or?
Peanut butter chocolate. Tillamook one.
Oh,
Oh,
That's
you
really good.
devil.
They were on sale
Alex
at
is not into
Target,
it.
and I haven't had anything Tillamook in so long.
oh,
Hell yeah. You've come west.
Right?
Let's see. For Alex, are there any plot questions, storylines you're curious about? Anything that's been picking at your brain that you want to ask on? Anything you want to just hear stories about? Like,
I feel like I had one earlier.
We've covered a lot.
Yeah, I don't. Oops. If I had questions, I don't remember them at this moment.
oh, that's fine. There's always next time.
Yeah.
It's not a one night, one and done situation.
this is
Not
a
like you
really
can-
good debrief though. I'm glad we did this.
Oh yeah. This is definitely worth doing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Makes me
Spencer, while you stuff
happy.
your mouth, is there anything you were curious about from the others, or anything you want to sponge upon, or I want to hear you talk with a full mouth, with peanut butter included. I know what I did. Dark Eldritch Light.
It's like the last bit of the sandwich where it's like if you bite it, then all the ice cream's gonna come out. So you just gotta like go for it.
Yeah.
It's like a burger.
Yeah, exactly.
Just mouth it in there.
No, I've just really appreciated this campaign. Handing it off with, like, handing it up to Harlan and like collaborating on that, and then seeing you all grow as players with all of this has been really, really exciting. And just, I just really appreciate it. I know it's like we're all like seasoned veterans of this now, so like a little bit of that initial magic is gone, but hopefully we can keep that really riding into everything else we do. I mean, I think that we can because we did a skeleton campaign and everyone fucking rocked it and was having a great time. So I
That
think
was
we'll be
cool.
fine.
Yeah.
I could say we kept it going through the pandemic remotely.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
I just want to call out again. Thank you all so much for when I moved out to Iowa, keeping this going. I don't think I could
Thank you
have
for
made it
staying
through
up until
Iowa.
like
the
3
same-
a.m.
Yeah, it was great.
And Alex for working the next day.
Oh my god.
You're
Yeah.
a beast. I don't understand how you
seriously.
function. You're a beast.
That. You guys are the best. Oh, Lainey wanted to show you this gift
did
she got
this.
me.
I
Look
did
Look
this.
at these beautiful flowers.
I arranged
Oh,
those are gorgeous.
She arranged them. They are little. It's my anniversary gift from her.
Oh,
Sweet
oh
that
shoot,
is.
your anniversary.
Happy anniversary!
Yeah, it's like our how many years? 18, 25,
2?
25.
25-year anniversary.
25 years.
Aw.
Wow.
We
Wow.
pray to an eldritch god and
Since
sustain
you two
them
were
our
6
blood.
years old.
I love the color so much.
Yeah.
It's a little creepy, honestly.
She is.
I adore you all.
I double up agree on what Spencer said. Couldn't imagine playing this game with people who don't care. The most impressive thing to have people that actually care about what they do here. And
I have played. This campaign, or I guess playing in a different semi-campaign with other people who don't care as much, or who there's one character who like he made a character choice not to get along with anybody.
that's
And it
That's unfortunately a classic D&D character.
Really?
Like
it's a classic mistake.
Yeah.
it was like I liked the people. It was painful to play.
You're like, what do I do with this? This is no fun for me or anyone.
It's no fun for anybody.
Yeah.
And we were able to have like discussions and disagreements, and yet we got along, and I love this. One of my my favorite thing about telling people about our campaign is that we kind of started playing accidentally. Like we didn't expect. I didn't expect us to take to it as much as we did, and it's the best. This is one of my favorite things. It's one of the things that I was most nervous about losing when we had a tiny human.
I remember you were like fairly pregnant, and you're like, "Don't worry, when the kid's here, we're bringing the kid to D&D. We're not losing this." I was like, "Okay, right. Okay."
Sweet summer, Alex.
We're gonna make it work.
We're making it work. I
Yeah.
remember there being a time where I was.
Great.
I remember there being a time where I was like, "I'll just wear the baby. We'll just bring him and we'll both go. It'll be fine." That's how babies work.
That's
Yeah.
yep.
A little
that's
naivete.
It's just like you bring Charlie, it's fine.
Yeah.
Right.
It just sleeps
Yeah,
in the
we'll
corner.
toss
It
Andrew
is
some
good.
Cheetos on the floor. It'll be fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she likes her apples, but she just sleeps. Elena!
Hello.
Found her.
Happy anniversary.
Oh, baby.
Gives it happy anniversary.
Thank you.
The baby booty. Yeah. Oop.
Biggest nose.
I would. Yeah.
James wants you to pick my nose.
Don't do
and I
that.
say no. I bite.
You won't. You won't.
And there's witnesses.
Yeah, she got in there.
This is intimacy.
This is peek into the sea.
Yes.
I
She's been
love it.
inside
Look at
watching.
how proud she looks of herself.
Face. Oh my god, her little face. Oh, that's too
Ah.
good. Yeah, I love that we've been able to use Discord and have the
This is
online as
awesome.
an option. It's
We-
amazing.
Like I said,
Like
I'm
I
so
forever with this.
I'm so thankful that we already had this set up before the pandemic.
Yeah. Yeah.
That,
We weren't scrambling
that
to
Harlan,
figure it
you
out.
did so much work to get this going.
Mhm.
So thank
Whatever
you.
it takes. I fucking
Whatever it
need
takes.
my orcs. I need them.
I need
My
orcs.
beautiful elf boy. Played enough characters that never got their finale that I just fucking shoehorn them in as NPCs. It's just like they deserve it, but not this one. He got his finale, and it's servitude.
It's servitude to an elf to a.
Wasn't
death
always going to be
god.
happy.
Nope.
Alex,
Best endings
I
aren't
was-
happy.
I was mentioning earlier, speaking of orcs, I was going back through my notes, and I still need to do the one-off for the Hill of Kings for people, if you remember that. For Savage Frontier for Calderock, like how they figure out who is the king of the Savage Frontier.
Yes, please.
Just make it a battle royale and call it good.
So much
Hell
fun.
yeah.
Can't wait
So
to
much
Fortnite
fun.
my way through Juniper. It'll be great.
The spell jam, that was super cool too.
The spell jam was
Fuck,
so
I forgot about spell jam.
good.
Yeah,
Jam
fucking
was
spell
really
jam.
cool. Yeah.
I appreciate so much that you all are okay with me like beta testing every bad idea I have.
Every
'Cause,
I
like,
don't think
idea.
I've never seen a bad idea.
Like, I mean, they all don't work out perfect, and y'all are the first testers,
I
and
love
then
it.
they never see the light of day again. So it's
One
y'all
and
take
done.
the punches and you roll with it. And I appreciate that.
It's fun. You both are amazing and coming up with things to keep us on our feet and make us figure new stuff out and put us in situations that like it's never boring.
You gotta get weird with it. As soon as it gets stale, it gets boring. So
Yeah.
there were a couple of fucking fake vampires that turn out to be giant mutated dogmen at you instead. Like, that's the kind of shit you got hit 'em with. Tonight's a Home Alone adventure. Break into this
Ooh, that
house and
was
get
fun.
$60,000. Let's go.
Right.
That was another.
This
That
is
was
why-
a different one-off, right?
No, that was when we went to.
Fields of Plenty.
We went back to Fields of Plenty.
That's
and we broke
right.
into the Bella and her family at Griffey's like abandoned house, and there was
Great
Yeah.
Christmas.
inside
Oh,
booby traps.
I was thinking of a one-off that we did that was also kind of like booby trapped the house for the people who came in. Remember that?
Yes, because I played
Yeah.
the
We were like monster races, and we had
the
to
monster
barricade the
races
house.
one. I played like a
Ah.
Yeah.
goblin
Yeah,
or something who
the
liked to blow
monster
things
races.
up.
Yeah.
That's what
thought
I was
that's what you
thinking
were
of too
talking
for a
about.
second.
But Griffey's house, that was really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep them on their toes. Give them something new every time.
Mm.
I had zero plans for that Griffey house, and in the middle of the night, I was like, what if it's booby trapped? And then that was 2 hours. It was going to be vampires, and then you guys called my bullshit, and I'm like, nope. Mutation monsters
Plot
coming up
twist,
at you.
friends.
Yeah.
Hmm.
All right, I think we should wrap it up.
Yeah. We could do
So
this
do
forever, but
we-
it would
I
boring.
know.
You could.
Are we going with candle nights probably next week?
I think Friday is going to be candle nights.
Cool.
I don't
Okay.
know if we're going to be doing the Saturday game.
I don't know.
Oh, wait. No, fuck. I forgot. Most of the people are going to be gone next week from, we got shit planned. We're going to,
When do y'all leave?
I thought it was Friday.
Saturday.
You
We
leave
leave
on Saturday.
Saturday?
Saturday morning.
Okay.
Oh, we can't play
What?
Friday. Fuck, I
So
thought we
be
left Friday.
me, Harlan, and Kyle at Ryan's bachelor party.
But you had a thing on Friday you wanted to do.
I do have a thing Friday evening that I'd like to go to. We talked about this.
Yes, I know we did.
Okay.
I'm thinking through if you are gone and I am playing.
Okay, we'll work it out.
We'll figure it out.
I'd
Okay.
be home early. It's like a work thing, so.
Maybe I was
We'll
wrong.
figure
I
it
think
out.
Friday.
But the
Oh, you
candle
see, I
nights
just
might
said
not be
eyebrows.
happening this upcoming week.
And if it does,
Is that
I'm
what I'm
We wanna-
hearing?
We don't leave for the bachelor party until Saturday.
Okay.
I was
maybe.
wrong. I thought it was Friday. I'm an idiot.
Yeah, it's Saturday through Monday.
Okay, cool.
I was gonna say, I would pull in Rachel and we could have a one-off with Alex and Sam. But if everyone's here, then I guess no one cool one-off that we could do.
We can chat
It's
about
fine.
it on
Save it.
Discord over the next day or two. Figure our shit
We'll
out.
figure it out.
But
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you all. Thank you all for the lovely last 4+ years, whatever the heck it's been. 3+
Yeah.
years.
old.
4?
I know.
Love it.
2018 sounds right. I don't know.
Okay,
Long
Super Troop
2017?
Season 1,
2017, I think.
Episode 1. 2017. Fuck us.
Yeah.
8/11.
Yeah.
We just passed our fucking
Yeah.
4-year anniversary.
Are you fucking sick? God damn it.
Not everyone
Yeah.
was on the
That's
8/11
the
game. There was like
coolest.
half of us.
Yeah, no.
That's
I know,
the one I
but, like,
chose as the official start.
It does have canonical relevance because there were
Yeah.
first
Yeah.
flame cultists.
Yeah, that's yeah.
So,
Was that when I played the Rock Gnome?
Yeah.
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 That was cool.
Then a month later, we played Cartscapade.
Yeah, the cards were paid.
Yeah.
That was the 9.
We had to backtrack a lot of these early dates because I didn't have them.
That took some
Oh, you
fucking
had to go back in
but we
calendars?
figured it out.
Yeah, we figured it out.
That's how James and I figured out when our anniversary was.
Time is fake. Calendars are an illusion. Thank you, fucking Caesar, I guess.
Yeah, screw you, Caesar, and your
Fucking
son
God,
or
so
whatever.
much Cat
Anyways, all right, I'm gonna go to bed.
Okay.
It's like 11 over
Good.
here.
Good
so-
night, friends.
Bye,
All right,
Love
you all.
Take it easy.
Love you too.
Thank you. Alright, I need to do a big piss. I need to pee so bad, baby. But first, I take my shirt off like a sex man. This shirt is too small for me.
Oh my gosh. Too
Okay.
small for you.
I need to pee really bad. Fuck.
Oh, fuck. Oh, pubic hair.
That was my chin hair that I pull off because I do that when I get stressed.
Aw, babe.
lot. It's gonna be longer than the wedding drive. It's like, I'm not here for that. I don't want that.
If I want to go to Leavenworth and that's about a 4-hour drive.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah. It's a lot.
It'd be nice if you had a license and then you could drive carpool too.
Yeah.
This is something I need to learn. Damn it, I came out here to fucking get my water and I forgot to do it. Open up the plug back. Open it up.